Hello, my friends. It's Tuesday, August 12th, 2025. My name is Todor Vladov, and I'm back after three instead of the regular 2 weeks with a 58th episode of Keeping It Realistic, a show that, as you know, is done in collaboration with Chaos and very much revolves around and is dedicated to our beloved Chaos Campus community. I see you already being here. I see Mohadis. I see many others with us here again. And let me tell you, we know that the August is a vacational and holiday season. I myself am still on vacation. So having you show up and be here with us today is something that we really appreciate. And I say appreciate because today, once again, I am not alone. I have one of you join me as my co reviewer. And let me tell you, this time we will leave wintry Brazil, where we got to meet Estela and Pedro, and we move over to summer Switzerland, where my today's co host is situated. And I really can't wait to invite her over because she truly is one of a kind. Not only does she concept buildings and nicely visualize them, she also dances and paints like a total pro. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome with me straight from Switzerland, Mariana Michalcikova. Hello,
Hello,
Mariana.
everyone. Hey,
Hey, how
nice
are
to
you?
be here. I'm great.
You're in a very special place. Where are you?
Yeah, I'm in it's our meeting room where we have this huge screen. We usually make these online meetings here so everyone can see everyone, and so that's why I'm a bit far.
I just said that you're one of a kind. You're a dancer, and of course, you need a stage to be put on when you are part of this show, and it's really great. It's something unusual, something very interesting and unique to me too. It's great to have you here, and yeah, your name is something that you've definitely put out there in this community. People know you because you're active, very active, usually during our live sessions, during Keeping It Realistic, because from time to time you also share your work, ask questions, or provide fellow artists with some constructive feedback and criticism. So today we want to hear more from you. I see here Simon, Derika, Amit, Danushka, Mikkel, all of them want to hear, and in myself included, of course, we want to hear more about your creative journey and about yourself as a person too. So please tell us more about you.
Thank you, Theo. So it's really a pleasure to be here with you. I'm Mariana Michalcikova. I come from Czech Republic. I'm local in Switzerland now, where I work for an architecture firm, Bautzeitarchitekten. We usually made middle big projects, the hospitals, schools, big residential buildings, and so on, libraries. Normally we do new buildings, but sometimes also any renewals. And I approached the 3D when I was very young. It means in university when I studied in Italy. In fact, I tried to explain to Theo that my plan was to stay in Italy like 4 months for Erasmus, but then I stayed 11 years and switched from philosophical faculty of philosophy to architecture. And I began to study there in Italy. After my studies, I stayed there for more 6 years, and then we moved to Canary Islands, to Tenerife. Then from Tenerife, it was a pre-COVID period, and I began to work online in home office with Hong Kong, then Myanmar, Burkina Faso, and Italy. It was all architecture firms, which was led by ladies from Italy, which I knew during my studies and work in Italy. So it was really a great experience. And then when I just started to be a bit boring from the island of Tenerife, I had this occasion to start to work in Switzerland. So it's since 2019 that we live in Switzerland.
Wow.
So then my 3D career, as I told, I started in university. We was like trying to approach 3D Max with very bad results. And then
Yeah.
when I started to work, always as a student, I made some conceptual render, but it was really like a basic, rudimental. Then I left it. I made some details, some more really architecture work, like plans, sections, and so on. And then when I moved to Tenerife, I started again to approach 3D because it was like something that was very demanding from these architecture firms I was asking to work with. So I started with SketchUp and V-Ray. So this was like 7 years ago, and at some point I felt that SketchUp was not like my way, because every time I wanted to work with something like more detailed, like very detailed objects and so on, SketchUp was angry, totally crashing, and it was really
Back then, it was
exhausting.
kind of limited, right? In the beginning.
Yeah, a lot, and always it's also that when you search for models, for instance in
Yeah.
3D Sky, you can download all 3D Max models that are ready to use, and it's great. And with SketchUp or Rhino, you have always just import, then retexture, then everything. So it was really like wasting my time. So when I moved to Switzerland, I passed to Rhino with V-Ray, and it was way better because of polygons was just the workflow was right better. But I saw that there were, however, there's a difference between 3D Max results and Rhino results in terms of realism. Maybe someone, I think Simon cannot not agree with me, but I see that there is like lighting is not so crisp, textures as not so, it's not like so clean. So at some point, like in January, I decided to move to 3D Max with Corona. So it was this double passage, and it was really tough at the beginning because I didn't know the 3D Max brain very well, and it was like it's always the first time, the first months you are using software. It's always like you are searching for the previous options that you have in
Yeah.
Rhino.
Tools and functions and stuff like
Really
that. Yeah.
tough. But with Corona, I have to say that it's so intuitive that I found it really super easy. So in this way, it was very, very easy. So this is about my 3D career. In my free time, I dance. I make Afro dancing with the live music. I started to teach when I moved to Tenerife. I founded my own Afro dance and percussion school, and we had like courses every day, then the weekend and events, and it was really like very intense. I love it a lot, but at some point I found that I was missing really like to be more working with architecture. So in this point, I decided that it was better to move somewhere where I could maybe work in an office, or somewhere where I can share every day, see faces, in presence, and not only working in home office.
Yeah.
And during the COVID, I started watercolor courses in Domestika. This is online platform, and I really found my way because it was a great compensation to everyday life in front of the computer and screen. And as I told you during our previous conversation, for me, watercolor is great because there are no undo commands. So you have to deal with mistakes. and you have to transform your mistakes in something great. And this is like a real life. So it was something that I really needed. And then also analogical media to digital is like a good exercise. And in the watercolor, you have also you have to manage composition, color schemes, forms, and the transpiration, and so on. So it's really like a great complementations to my architecture work. I can share with you some images.
Yeah, please. It's so interesting that we see somebody passing by. It's so lively.
Yeah.
Like in the
No
news, you
problem.
have this city in the background and moving cars and stuff like this. That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, please. I wanted
So,
to ask you to show some of your paintings because first time
so
I saw
what
them, I thought this is just some AI or Pinterest stuff.
yeah, no, no, yeah, it's just,
Abdi, but
hours
in the
of hard
meantime, let me
work.
tell you that what people are saying about you and your presentation. Just take a look at this. This is, by the way, my favorite bird. I absolutely
Oh,
love
thank you.
it.
Yeah, the my goal is always to just I like realism, but not I don't want to be hyper realistic. So it's like just I try to find a way to build the volumes and match the colors and so on. And also, it's very important to work with watercolor media as it is. You have to take it as it is. It means that you cannot ask to be like something like I don't know, acrylic or something which you can make something different. And it's exactly as with softwares. If you work with Rhino, you cannot ask him to behave as a 3D Max and so on.
But
So
this is
I
digital
like that.
painting, right? Sorry for interrupting, but Amit is asking, do you paint on big canvas or regular paper? But this is digital, or isn't it?
No. It's a paper.
It's paper. So a canvas
It's
or
paper.
just regular.
It's a special paper I use. It's like between 300 grams to
Oh,
600 grams. It's a cotton,
so
one
watercolor
100%
paper. Okay.
cotton. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because if not, the paper is the most important media. Not that pigment, but if the paper is not good, so you can do everything and nothing is going all well.
Yeah.
So I like, portraits because of eyes, because I'm really fascinated by eyes and light in the eyes. This is something like more conceptual with more realistic. Uh, this is something that I do like more illustration because of
It's
my
so
daughter,
sweet.
because she loves it. So
My
we
daughters
always
will love it.
discuss. It's like, yeah, and that's it. That's what I like to do in my free time.
But you didn't only learn it during this or because of that domestic course. You had some previous experience with painting and drawing, I suppose, or didn't you?
Uh, Not really. I when I was child, like 12, 14, I took some school from a really good paid some lessons from a really good painter in school, but it was
Nice.
like once a week or something. But it's something I love to do. And if you have this passion inside, so anytime you touch the good button, it comes out, and that's great, because you just need to train, of course, but in a very small period of time, you can achieve a really good results.
Yeah, because people are absolutely like Abdi here saying beautiful artwork, simply amazing.
Thank you.
Amit says, "Wow, so
Thank you, Dee.
beautiful." Abdi continues, "It must be V-Ray paper." Well, I don't know, but I mean, it's good fun. But it seems like you have the talent, but it seems like it is also possible to learn something which looks very professional
Absolutely,
in a short
absolutely.
amount of time.
Yes. I think that if in every art, how to say, in everything you do in a art, like dance or singing or playing piano or something. Of course, the talent is important, but the
Yeah.
training is much more than this. So if you paint every day, you
Yeah.
know, the results will come. It's really, it's like 100% sure. But you know, I think the most important is to be patient and kind with yourself, because if you are too severe with yourself, it's like you know, you will not go anywhere. You have to be really kind and do give the time to yourself, and it will be amazing, because you know, you everything you do, you can do it like with happiness. So
Yeah.
this is why.
Expecting immediate results is not a good way to do it. Like,
Exactly.
and also what I've seen over time, like let's say you learn something new, like you learned Corona in the beginning of the year, which by the way, let me also give you some comments here. People saying, yeah, Amit says, welcome to Corona, Mariana. You're with us and we are with you. This is really kind. Part of the Corona family now. Derika says, Corona equals happiness, which I can also agree with. But if you learn something for the first time, you have no idea about it, you make a quick progress, right? But once you start learning more and more about it, next time you go to a course, you cannot expect to make the same leap. It won't be. It will be just a small leap. And from now on, it's just small steps that lead you to the top.
That's
Don't
true.
expect it,
Yes.
because some people, they invest in one course, they learn a lot, and then they invest in a different course, and they are not happy with it because they expected to learn the same amount of new stuff as they learned the first time around, but it's just not
Yeah, it's not
possible.
possible. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. You're
And
right.
also one thing you said, I hope that everybody heard this. The more you need, talent is one thing, but you need exercise. And you know, guys, how often I tell you to take photos with your smartphones. This is why I do it. And today I also show you maybe one photos of the remise, because we'll be talking about our challenge. And even if I take a photo like this for the remise for myself, it's for my own satisfaction, because I think it's beautiful lighting and something. I still try to frame it nicely and stuff. And at some point, it becomes a part of you. And I think, Mariana, that now if you sit down to paint or watercolor, then it will be better, because you can then focus more on what you paint rather on how to
Yes,
paint, right?
exactly.
And
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is this is the goal. This is why I urge you all to take photos with your smartphone. You see, I have a new cover. Let me show off. It's very cool. But yeah, take photos with your smartphone, because in the end of what we do, no matter if this automotive, project visualization, ArcViz, or whatever, we become virtual photographers. So the more you take photos outside, the better photos you take in front of your
That's true.
3D software. You agree?
Yes, yes.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Cool. Okay. It was a great introduction, and your story is, to me personally, a story of movement and transition. Like you went from the Czech Republic to Italy to Spain to Switzerland, if I got everything.
Yes,
And
yes.
we went from SketchUp to Rhino to Max, from V-Ray to Corona. So you like changing things. You're not the one who
Yes.
just fixes on something and stays with it, which is very interesting. I also, interestingly enough, I also went the same way when it comes to 3D software. I started with SketchUp and V-Ray, went to Rhino and V-Ray. For 7 years, I was doing my commercial work with Rhino and V-Ray, and then switched over to Corona with Max. But I'm more of a person who likes, routines and having the same things every day, like almost autistically. So, but it's always a pleasure to get a pleasant person like you. And as Amit says, I fully agree. You're a people's person. Let me see what he said exactly, because it was very beautifully put. He said, "So you're a people's person. Good to know. It helps to socialize and converse." And yeah, I think you are. You're a social person. You like having people
Yes,
around you, the
totally.
dance, the movement, an energetic one too. And yeah, it's great to have you here. So let's talk about some, I mean, it could be with co-reviewer or without a co-reviewer, but our show has a usual routine, here, the OCD duties in front of you. So we need to go through the usual routine, which means we'll check out some news and topics that I have you here to talk with, and of course, the audience to discuss with as well. And then we can review some works. And by the end of the show, of course, there will be a Q&A with Mariana. I have some questions, and you folks have questions for her too, which I hope. Just wait with the questions until the end of the show, so that we have them buckled up and we can just put Mariana under Levine. I don't know what's the word of questions. Anyway, Um, News, I will just start sharing my screen. Give me a second so that I figure out which screen is the right one to share, because I will share something which I shouldn't be sharing. Uh, I see Anna has some issues connecting to the show, which I don't understand why. You guys didn't have any issues. Like, I see all of you here. I hope we don't have any people who actually tried but couldn't. But I don't know. I don't know how to help. I suggested refreshing the browser or maybe trying a different browser, but I don't know what she can eventually do. But we have to move on with our topics for today. So let's do this. I hope you can see my screen. And of course, first thing we want to talk about is a recent release, the V-Ray 7 for Max update 2, which came out last week, if I'm not mistaken, with a ton of new features, including, let me scroll here, including, the AI enhancer, the AI material generator, something that a lot of us have been really, really looking forward to, I think. And it's great. And by the way, for those of you who ask when we will have something similar for Corona, as far as I can tell, with the hotfix 1, which comes this week officially, we'll also have the material generator included. So it's going to be very soon. But also Night Sky, isn't it great, Mariana? For me as an artist, like the artist side of me, not so much the artist side. When I see this, I'm like, wow, so many new options. This is just
Great.
awesome, isn't it?
Yeah. I was about to ask when is it coming for Corona, but you answered already. So it's great. It's
Well,
amazing.
this was just about the AI material generator. As for the Night Sky, I'll tell you about it more, but this when I'll share some personal thoughts about this, because in the end of the day, it's like every time a new render update or version comes out, you have people, like in this particular case, it's V-Ray, and then you immediately have the people underneath asking, when will I have it for my render engine, for Corona, for Escape, or for whatever? And while, yeah, some of these things are already are a part of Corona, like the AI enhancer Corona had before V-Ray, for example. The AI material generator comes with the hotfix, as I told you. The Night Sky, as well as the Gaussian splat rendering, come to Corona with version 14, which is supposed to come out in November.
Okay.
But still, I think we need to understand that these are separate and different render engines. The same way Mercedes-Benz makes sports cars and buses, and when a new bus comes out, you don't come and ask, when will I fit 64 people in my race car? It's like it's something different. So it's just like this. Corona, this is why you're so happy. You said it in your introduction. Corona is focused on architectural visualization. It's meant to be a simple render engine, out of the box thing, plug and play. You just, open it, use it, press render. The settings are already done for you, and you just enjoy, and focus more on what you show rather than how to make it happen. Whereas V-Ray is this behemoth of a render engine, which is there for ArcViz, for Hollywood movies, for marketing companies, for everything, automotive, everything. And of course, it is more complex because of this, because it needs to cater to all the interested groups out there. And this is why not everything that comes to V-Ray will come to Corona as well, because if Corona turns as complex as V-Ray, there is no point in having two different engines.
Of course. Yeah,
It
you're
was
right.
just not for you, it was just for everyone here. Because I used to be like that. I think it's a very legit question to ask, will any of these things also be available for my render engine, and if so, when, and stuff like this. Or for example, let's say what we see here, it is V-Ray for 3ds Max. This means that if you're a Rhino user or SketchUp user or something like this update isn't for you yet. So asking like, when will I also get it for my software, is of course another very legit question, which, by the way, as far as I know, to answer it, is going to be towards the end of September, when the same V-Ray update 2, V-Ray 7 update 2 will be available for other render 3D softwares. But if we keep asking, like, when do I get it in Corona? I can imagine that people get pissed. This is just my thought. I'm not representing chaos in the moment. I'm just putting my thoughts out there for everyone. And Of course, we don't want this, but yeah, I mean, they keep answering our questions very calmly. But yeah, it's just that not everything V-Ray has is going to be there for Corona as well, because otherwise Corona will become too complex and lose one of its main advantages over V-Ray. So just so we know. So anyway, check this out. There are many, many things new here, like the Gaussian splat rendering, which is amazing because now you can clip through the Gaussian splat model in order to place your own model inside, which makes it even nicer to use. And what we just need to wait for is to somebody to figure out how to remove the light data from a Gaussian splat model in order for us to be able to apply our own lighting onto it, and then we'll have easily made environments instead of, I mean, you said you work on huge projects like hospitals
Yes.
and stuff like this, so you probably need to also model surroundings, which is just a time wasted, at least the way I see it,
Yeah,
being
exactly.
mostly
Yes.
exterior artist. So being able to use a Gaussian splat model that can be filmed with a drone within an hour and then place your hospital or whatever building inside would be just amazing. This will save you so much time.
Would be great, yeah. And this time we are using just draw in images and Photoshop, like just putting inside. But it will be great to also you can make an amazing video with this, and this with photo is not so easy. So
Yeah, exactly.
great. Mhm.
Yeah, and we'll be getting them in November if everything goes right with it, with Corona 14. We'll be also be getting Gaussian splats, but the
Amazing.
issue is that they come with this pre-baked light data. So you need to adapt your
Yes.
model to the lighting of the Gaussian splat model rather than vice versa, which of course takes away flexibility. But
Mhm.
there are so awesome people out there. I'm sure somebody will figure out how to remove that data, and then this would be one of the nicest days of my entire life, I gotta say. Yeah. Anyway, check this out. There is also a very nice video here. I think it's one by Nate Skila, judging by the pleasant voice, where he shows all of these features. I'll just drop it in the comments for those of you who have missed it or want to see them, these functions or features in action. Amit says also we're not going to give what Corona has to V-Ray. Yes, we'll keep our secrets. Okay, anyway, let's move over to some learning, something which is very inspiring, but at the same time, something that you can learn from. I don't know if you saw this, Mariana, but there is this video by Next
Yes, I saw
Studios,
it. Yeah,
the
yeah.
beach never forgets, which is absolutely amazing. The video itself, uh, like the story, yeah, somebody may see it as a corny story, like some love story, which for a movie may not be something special. But for me, this is the first time I see dirt done entirely in 3D, like a full CGI. A love story like this, and it's awesome in terms of storytelling. What do you think?
For me, I saw all the video, even if it was a bit like longer than video I usually
Yeah,
see, because normally it's like 1 minute and 1 minute and a half maybe. But I was just very curious to see all these details and all the stuff they made, and I found it really amazing and huge work. And it really gives you you would like to be there. And even if maybe this story can be a bit like kitschy, a
yeah,
kind of, but
yeah.
it's original. However, it's original, so I think that it's like it's really really amazing, a huge work.
Yeah, and it's fascinating because it's mostly done in 3ds Max, V-Ray, and Phoenix, and of course with some AI, Clink AI, if I'm not mistaken. But I think the main work is done actually in with Phoenix and V-Ray, and you see the ocean, for example. It looks absolutely amazing. Amit says
Yes.
Mohammed and Next Studios did a wonderful job on this. Also, thanks to him for sharing the making of. Yeah, exactly. This is what I was about here because we are talking about learning, and yeah, Muhammad started sharing those making ofs with us in the community, and it's really something that I encourage everyone to take a closer look at, because just take a look at the sand here. Let's go a bit closer on this one. Take a look at the sand, and you see how complex of a texture this is. Like you have the dry sand, the damp sand, the wet sand, and then even some footprints here and there. So this is a complex texture. Here he boils it down to the different types of sand, and here he shows how created the texture. And this is amazing knowledge. And the truth is, you cannot get all the knowledge or knowledge like that from courses or from free tutorials out there. And here we have it served on a silver tablet, as it is called in Germany. So make sure to show him some love, to show some appreciation for somebody sharing their really deep knowledge with us. And here he also shared a video where we see a bit of the making of, showing how these scenes were actually, done, rendered, and you see
Wow.
the transition between the 3D model and the final render. And this is absolutely impressive.
It's amazing, really. Thank you, Muhammad, for sharing your knowledge with us. It's it's also good that in the house campus, if you ask a question, or even if you don't ask a question, but you have this like synthesis, really, just the answer to the problem, and that it's something that you cannot find in courses, but you have to go through all the course to find the answer to your question. But in chaos, you can just ask, and that there's always someone that can help you. So that it's amazing. I found it amazing.
Please keep that quote. I'll just read something by Abdi because this would be an amazing transition to our next topic. Abdi says, regarding The Beach Never Forgets, he says, and it is an older work from them, which makes it even more impressive because back then they weren't that powerful than they are today. There was no AI for the texture improvement and all that. So it's a great job, really. This is totally great. And what's even better to me is that they really decided to share their knowledge atop of all. But yeah, what you just said about the group and so on, this is something which you can gladly make a clip of with your phone in 9:16 format, maximum 3 minutes of length, and then share with me that so that I can go and share it on our official YouTube channel, because this helps us promote the channel in a very trustworthy way. I think this is exactly why Amazon was so successful. It was because of the customers' reviews, not because the projects there are cheaper or something. It's because people were writing those reviews. So once you went to a project, you can see what people that actually bought it think about it and how their experience was. So, and this is why I always find something like those clips. We already had the first one by Amit. It was amazing. Yesterday, I shared another one by Isaac. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's very nice. It's from a different part of the world, which is absolutely cool, I think. I'll share it with you once again in the comments. Amit says Isaac did a really great short video. Loved what he said. And yeah, I will never start telling you what to say. It's up to you to just share your honest opinion about the group, what you like about it, how you profit from it, why do you think somebody should join it. And yeah, I obviously expect such a video from you as well, dear Mariana.
Of course, I will.
Yeah, it would be very cool. I mean, your video was already, a clip of yours was already featured on the official promotion, and it was great. So let's do a second one, but this time it could be longer. For
Mhm.
first one, and we needed to limit ourselves to only 30 seconds. This time we have 3 minutes. So you can talk as much as you want. And yeah, so please contribute to this, and you also get something out of it because you get exposure. This is shared on the official Chaos channel. Like if we go here, you'll see your channel. You'll see that we have the shorts here, and we also have playlists. And one of the playlists is called "We Are the Chaos Campus," and this is where I pack all of your shorts, so that with time this playlist will really grow and will be awesome to look at, I think. Okay, and then let's talk about our challenge, the remise, shall we? Have you seen it, Mariana?
Yeah, of course. I was just, I asked in the comments if we are allowed to show more than one
Oh,
idea,
sure.
just in case. But yeah, it's really great. I didn't know this kind of construction because in Switzerland, I think that we don't have this. But where I'm not living here that much time to say that we are not having this one. But it's really, really really original. I think it's like something that you don't usually do. So I'm really happy to see results and to work on it.
I didn't know it either. And you can imagine how, the first time before we rented the house, we had this tour through the house and the garden. And then I have already said that I'm an architect, that I have been studying architecture for almost 7 years and stuff. And then, the dude who was, bringing us through to the whole tour was like, yeah, and there is a remise there. You know what it is, right? And I was like, yeah, of course I know. And I was just starting to look what it may be because I didn't know. But then we saw this building, and I was like, okay, this must be it. So I tried to act competent. But this was also the first time in 2021 when we moved in here that I saw it. But it's definitely something special. That's something which I, obviously you can say he shows off, and I do. But apart from that, this is really something which I thoroughly love in our garden, because if you were to visit us, and everybody here with us today or watching the recording later, if you visit Germany and want to come say hi, I would love just to, have you over and welcome you in my house. But if it's in the summer, this is where we can spend some really nice time together. It's really cool. It overlooks a garden full of fruit trees, and even has a TV so that you can, watch a movie. This is where we do our Saturday night movies with the kids in the summer, and I just love this. And everything you need to know about this challenge, you can find here in the official post. I have shared it with everyone. But what I want you to really know, that this is not an Archviz challenge, okay? This is not. I mean, you can turn it into one if you want, but this is not meant to be. What we need you to do is get this building. You can download it here. If you click on the link, you will land here, where you find a Max 24 model, nicely optimized by Pedro. I modeled the thing for you, so you don't have to do that. And I gave it to Pedro, who is a great modeler, who made sure it's a lightweight model. You see, it's barely 30 megabyte, despite a lot of detail. And we have it for Max 24 and Max 21 as well, for those who have older versions of Max, and as an FBX for those of you who don't use Max, but Rhino, SketchUp, Cinema, or whatever. So you can download it and immediately start working on it. There are some photos here, but once again, they're just for you to see how this thing looks like in original, rather than to try to recreate it or replicate it as it is. This is why I didn't texture it, because what we need you to do is to come up with an exciting scenario where that the remise is just a part of. Like, create something in your head. I gave you a few examples here in this video. Create a great idea, or come up with some interesting idea, then create a mood board for it with references. This could be AI references, photos, Pinterest stuff, renders, whatever you need. It doesn't need to be a beautiful looking mood board. It just needs to have references for the things that are important to your concept, like lighting or surroundings or whatever. And then implement your idea in 3D, and then deliver the whole thing, obviously rendered in Chaos with the Chaos render engine, plus the mood board. And why do we need the mood board? Is because we want to make sure that you had the idea, you started following it, and then you created something based on this mood board. Because a beautiful image on its own is something good, but it is way more valuable when it started somewhere and you follow through. Don't you think, Mariana? When
It's exactly as we do with our architecture projects. It must be like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's still a training, but let me explain why the remise. Why did I decide to go with this building and not with something else? Like, because some of you may say, okay, like, Theo, I would gladly participate in the challenge in the group, but why did you pick up something so commercially irrelevant? Like, it's if you had a kitchen or a bedroom, we can then put it in our portfolios. Eventually, some clients may find them good and reach out to us. But how does a remise help us? Let me explain. You know that I'm an Arvis artist myself, and I used to be even more active on social media, sharing my commercial works in the past. And usually this was to very good and positive response from other 3D artists and professionals alike. The Corona team has picked many of my commercial works to share them on their social media, gaining thousands of likes. But at the same time, when you were to visit the Corona headquarters, hanging on the wall, you will find this, a rendering of mine of a skeleton smoking and looking at a photograph from past times. When you were to visit one of the most prominent, okay, I lost it, but I'll find it, one of the largest and most prominent groups for 3D artists out there, gracing the cover, you will find another render of mine depicting a baby in its crib stretching its tiny arms towards a mobile. If you were to listen to Danushka talking about his inspiration of becoming the great artist that he is today, you see him probably show this image of mine, which is a garden scene. And as you can see, all three of those are no RV scenes, right? What they are is unique and emotional. So sometimes we do need something else in our portfolios as an eye catcher, as something that gives us the attention so that people see that we are there and then take a look at the rest of our portfolio. What do you think, Mariana, so far?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's exactly what I am trying to put in our renders. As soon as we, I have three boss, so everyone has another opinion to images, but once the image is, evoking an emotion, the three are agreed with everything I do. So I am trying to push them, just to show not, you don't need to see everything from the building. If you want to know the project, you just see, just need to see maybe just a portion, a detail or something. And it is something that is catching your attention. And it's something that is selling really, the image and the object and everything. So I agree totally with you. Yes.
And this is exactly why we decided that let me show this thing, why that our criteria when we are judging your works in the end, and by the end I mean the middle of October, end of November. We still don't have a specific deadline, but I'll communicate one with you. But we wanted to make sure that you have enough time and no stress with this one. The criteria that we'll be judging upon are going to be originality and creativity, atmosphere and mood, and technical implementation. So that also people who aren't like perfect when it comes to technical implementation still have a chance to be among the winners, because they come up, let's say, with a very original idea or with an amazing atmosphere, something like this. This doesn't mean that you cannot put the remise in a garden. You can, but obviously you won't get many points for originality, will you? Then you need to make sure that the technical implementation is really top notch, and also the mood and atmosphere, the lighting is also perfect, because obviously this won't be very creative to put a garden shed into a garden, right? But once again, as Mariana said, it's not about the artifice. It's not about the building itself. It's about the atmosphere. And I'll show you a very recent example we all have already discussed within the limits of this show. This work by Evelina Lecker. Do you think she made this work because she hopes that some clients who want to build ancient Chinese temples are going to reach out to her? Obviously not. She did this to challenge herself, to work on her skills, to show off her skills. Because what she does here is she shows that she can do storytelling, and a wonderful storytelling, composition, lighting, framing. She shows off her skills here very, very clearly, right? So it's doesn't matter that it is a Chinese temple and a jungle around, because if I, as a client, see this, I will know, okay, this is an amazingly capable artist. She can do whatever she wants. I will reach out to her for my building, because obviously she can do cinematic shots. She knows how to deal with light, with composition, with framing, with color, with materials. And this is a showcase, but this is an eye catcher. It is way more interesting than some building in on a random street. This is why we do this and not something more commercially relevant. So just in case you were wondering why this building, why not something more relevant, it's because this is just your starting point. This is where your idea should be revolving around, or this should be in the distance, but you should focus on the story, on something interesting, on the atmosphere, rather than depicting this building, because no client will be interested in buying or having you visualize something like this, right?
And Theo, could you just say which part we can cut off and which we need to keep? Because I think that it's important.
You can remove the side parts. These parts here on the side. I think that the main
Okay.
part is the most representative one. So I think like these side parts here, the model is built in a way where it can just make them invisible and they will just be gone, and then you can leave just the middle part. If you think this is better or you don't need the side parts, you can remove them. But and once again, you can, like somebody like Abdi, you see him here in the comments, he's very good with Tyflow, right? So what he can do is he can go back in time to times when there were cannons, and then let this building be destroyed by a cannon with Tyflow if he wants to. It's about the story, it's about the atmosphere, it's about the emotion that we get from the image, and not so much about representing this specific remise. I already have it. I know how it looks like. You don't need to convince me or make what I already have. But of course, I can imagine that at some point when we're done, I can take some of the best images, and if you, of course, are nope, you don't want to see me. You're happy with this. I can actually print out some of them and actually use these slots in the walls to put up your versions or your stories around the remise inside. This would be absolutely amazing because this is not just some random stuff. This is exactly this thing. So yeah, and one day when you visit me, you'll see eventually your work there. So it's a win-win-win-win, and of course, the prices are amazing. These are all 1-year licenses for Chaos render engines of your choice, just growing up from third to first price, so from solo premium to the full collection. So you'll be saving a lot of money if you win that. But of course, you also have a lot of amazing tools for your creativity. So really, I really recommend, see it as a challenge. Come up with something cool, original, and let your soul fly. Just be creative. There is no limitation here. No, if you make like a space battle above this thing, nobody will come saying it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't sell. Because this is not the thing here. So I was talking for too long. I'm sorry, Mariana, but we needed to explain to everyone how this works. Because yeah, I can imagine some people think that they need to do some arvis, front view and side view, and this is really not what this thing is about. I'll check out a comment by Abdi here. He says, this is the reason why I have to think twice about participating. My brain does not work like, here is my plan, this is my concept, and I'll go with that. That has never been the case for any of my personal projects and a good amount of videos that I created for some music tracks. So my brain goes wild and needs no cages for it to be creative the way I want it to be. Putting it under pressure because there is a pre-plan and concept that I maybe had at the beginning will damage the rest of my process. Well, you know what? You start somewhere. I think you can still change in the process. Nobody wants you to define something precisely and then do it 100%. It's just your starting point. It's just that the creative journey is also a part of this. Nobody will say, oh, you know what, Adi, you lose because your image isn't the perfect implementation of what you originally came up with. It's just that you start somewhere and then there is a process. You didn't just randomly do it. So please participate. This one of your works is one of the works that I'm really looking forward to. Danushka says, really looking forward to this one. I really hope to see your contribution too, Danushka, and actually for everyone who's here or who's watching the recording afterwards, and you, Mariana.
Of course.
No, but of course, this is no pressure. This is why we have so much time, so that people won't feel bad while having to say, do I do it or do I don't have time because I have to do commercial work. This is something that people should really approach with joy. So
yeah, I'm going to do it definitely, because for me it will be a real challenge. I never, you have a lot of artistic visualization done in your past, so for you it's not like it's like something you know already, but for me it's something really brand new. So I will definitely make it. Yes.
I also use it as a challenge, by the way. I use it in a different way. I really want to get more into Vantage to see how much I can get out of this software. So, what I plan to do with this model is to challenge myself in the Vantage direction and try to do some animations with it. So, I'll use it in a different way. Obviously, I don't participate in the challenge, but I will also use this model for personal training and personal challenge as well, just in a
Great.
different direction. So, while you need to be creative, I need to be more technical. Yeah, and try to figure out how much I can make out of Vantage, because as you know, Corona with Vantage is different than V-Ray with Vantage. It's more limited, but it is still very, very capable and extremely quick. So I really need to see where I can make the most out of it and eventually incorporate this in my commercial work, because rendering something for 5 hours or for 5 minutes is a big difference.
Of course.
So yeah. Oh, we have somebody joining from Africa. That's really cool, man. Glad to have you here. Let's continue now with some reviews, right? Mariana, are you ready for that?
Yes, looking forward to, yes.
Me too. Okay, I hope everybody knows everything about our challenge right now. So let's start with the first work we were talking about today. Today there are many names that I'm about to butcher because I'm not sure how to properly pronounce them in English. This name I tend to read as Nwin or something like this. This is what ChatGPT said, and I tend to listen to ChatGPT when I have no better idea. So, and this is Nwin with the Papou residence in France. Maybe it's pronounced in a different. Oh, by the way, Mariana, how many languages do you speak, having lived in so many different countries?
I speak Italian, Spanish, French, a little bit of German and English, and Czech and Slovak, that are my mother languages.
Oh, only
But
only
it was
only
just,
only six countries?
it's just the result, of my traveling. It's not like it's just something that comes with traveling and working in a place you live in. So it's just like this. It's not,
Yeah, but this is
it's,
amazing. I mean, so many questions, so many languages. This is definitely useful, and you probably listen to
yeah,
those.
that's true. That's true. But it's also, if you learn Italian, that Spanish is like easier, and French is like a kind of combination of Italian and Spanish. So it's like, the three languages are like neighbors. So it's also, German is already like more difficult for me because it's not like my cup of tea. So it's already like, it's not so good. So it's just a
German is
consequence.
easy. We have a word for everything.
I know.
Rindfleischetikettierungsgesetz. That's just okay. But anyway, let's go over to Nguyen's work, and let me read what he writes about it. Hi everyone, I'm excited to share with you our latest project, Papou Residence located in France. Thanks for watching and hope you like it. It's done in Max, Corona, and Photoshop. Most works today will be done in Corona. So, let's go through the images and you can start sharing your positive feedback. I think it's going to be positive judging by the quality of these images.
Yeah, so what I like most, that the main hero here is like, yeah, just if you can just,
Yeah,
yeah, thank you.
let me remove this.
That, I would like to go through one by one because
Okay,
I have to.
sure, gotcha.
So the lighting is very original here. I think that it's something that it's making special, this project. And what I like most here, that the main hero is like, it's really pointed out by the color and the light, and the rest is like more black and white and more dark and so on. And the focus is on the ground, on the, not on the ground, on the like shops or something that are in the ground floor. And this is something that is really like, it's catching attention, that the people are directioned to these points. So it's like really well done. I found also interesting this perspective that is like slightly tilt and it's very dynamic. I found it really great. So I
I'm
think that,
conflicted about it, to be honest with you. I mean, I absolutely love the shot and the lighting. This is the type of lighting that I absolutely adore. And your observation was absolutely on point, I think, about how this building visually stands out, even though it's actually contre-jour, more or less. Did I pronounce it correctly in French?
Yeah.
So yeah, there is no German word for this. I think that the French term is just international one in photography. But how the building still stands out because of the color contrast, which is very
Yes.
very skillfully done, and also these people who bring the human scale. It's not like take a look at this architecture. It's like this architecture is part of an urban context. There are people there, and here we have a I interpret this as some type of a school class where they're going with a teacher somewhere or people going to a kid's birthday. But, we can start imagining, and this is already great.
Yes. Yes.
About
It's
the collapsing verticals, I actually went to Photoshop because, once again, OCD and so on. But I went to Photoshop to see how it looks like without them, and it still works, to be honest.
yes.
But the
Yeah.
dynamic or the dramatic of the shot is probably a bit lost. So
I don't know. I think that this is another type of dramatism. So it may be like the two are dramatics, but in a different way.
yeah,
So
it's more of
it's
an
like,
architectural shot, while this is maybe
mhm.
more focused on the urban space. But
Yes.
other than that, amazing. Shall we move on?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the texture of surrounding is really amazing in these shots and in another one too. Like, it's very realistic and,
Yeah,
really, really well done. And what I
absolutely.
also liked a lot, like the facade texture is very. I can imagine how it can be done technically, and this is very important. So, really,
Yeah,
really well
yeah. This is very very high level. Okay, I have to zoom out for the second shot. Wonderful
So
framing, isn't it?
in this one, I would say that I was a little bit disturbed by I don't know if the focus is on showing up that the color scheme and the textures are like blended out with the surroundings. So in this way, also the other buildings have the same color, like the texture of the facade. So in this case, the goal is done. It's great. But if not, I guess that here it's like a little bit more confusing in the terms of focus. It's like a little bit more open. The focus are also on the others, on the other buildings. So in this case, I was like, it's also great shot, really, really, really great shot. But I was just wondering if the author can answer uh, what's the focus. It's if it's always like the buildings itself or it's blending in the surrounding.
I think it's both. I mean, this is the way I interpret it, and this is to me one of the main qualities here. That it's not just because obviously in a situation like this, I think I had even a better example. Let me just scroll to the beginning, like this one.
Yes.
Okay, let's quickly go over to this one. This one could be framed like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it will still work. But I think he chose to frame it with wide angle so that the urban surroundings which this building is going to be added to are a part of this, because in the end of the day, this is exactly how I think it should be. In the end of the day, you don't build something unless it's something in an industrial area where there is a ton of space and nothing around. But if you build something in the center of the city in an urban context, there are buildings around it. So sometimes a building can be great on its own, but put next to other buildings, let's say historical buildings, it could be a totally foreign body and just not fit there. So showing how it actually sits with all the other buildings is something which I personally very much value from an architectural standpoint. I wish for competitions when people would do something like this, because they focus always on the building. They just show like 2 centimeters on each side of it, and then we don't see the rest. And then we see the building and it's great, but when it's built, one of a sudden we see a building that doesn't fit with its surroundings, and but it's too late then. So better
Of
now
course.
than later. So yeah, I love it. I don't know if this is not a bit of over the top a bit, because it's like a very very thick fog, but yeah, for the sake of emotionality, it's definitely on point, right? and so
Yes, yes.
lively. Just take a look at this: the hydrant, the bike leaning upon this. It's just so natural, the surroundings, and he really spent the time to make everything work.
Yeah, all these details are amazing. Really, wow, it's great.
Yeah. Shall we move on to the next one? Because suddenly
Yes,
we have a
yes, 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 of
change
course.
of the lighting mood. So far it was sunset,
Yeah,
and now we have midday sun.
yeah. This one is my favorite because I really like the scheme. The color scheme, this bluish atmosphere, and the you know what I was focused on the first time I saw this shot was the amazing car model. It was really great. It's wow. It's so cool. So I think that it's like it's like completing very well this bluish scheme. What I was just a little bit missing some people in terraces. I found really great the scattering of vegetation in all the terraces, but I found it like a bit lifeless, and just one, two persons or three somewhere could help maybe to make it appear more alive.
Perfect. I would have said the same here. I think it's just the architect speaking now, because when you do, let's say, a side view of a building, you always put some people where there are balconies to show some life, and yeah, because everything is otherwise. You have those different plants and even some furniture. This is a
Perfect.
great example. It's just that one, two people, like here, for example, we would have had some tonal contrast with a person just viewing in the distance, or you know somebody holding their kid in their arms, or two people just chilling out. I think it would have been great. But other than that, fully agree. And I think this one, because you mentioned it, I think this is a scene from 3D Sky that I even eventually have among my favorites there. I think it's a kind of a retro scene. If I remember it correctly, it's like this type of shed or garage, like really old school. And then there are these two guys who repair this old car. And yeah, this is so nicely implemented in this obviously modernistic context, because what we have here is this retro car which immediately doesn't quite fit and is an eye catcher, as you said, first thing you saw. And then you have the guy working on changing the tire, the other one polishing it, so obviously it's something special, an old timer, right? And then you have this modern family which engages with the people working on the car, and they're like, hey, what you doing, what type of car is this? And this is the storytelling part.
Yeah, it's a beautiful story. Yeah, that's great.
And the
Yeah.
car model is amazing, absolutely. I always, coming from Bulgaria, I always wish that back then when I was a kid, there were such cars still on the streets. I wish my parents would have bought something like this, and now they could sell it for millions as an old timer, because now you don't see them anymore, or if you see them, they're very expensive. But yeah, great shot. And I also really enjoyed that he decided to change the lighting scenario to show the building in a different context.
Yes.
Okay, here, the one we talked about, I think it's about
Yeah.
urban situation.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I think that it works really really nicely. I saw that there is some maybe issue with the building on the right side.
Yeah.
There are some like strange textures on the
On the windows.
side, and the reflections are a bit like bumpy. I don't know if it's maybe
Yeah.
just like the quality, or I don't know. This is the only thing that can be improved. If not, I guess it's perfect.
Yeah, it's very nicely, very natural. It's not over the top. You see, there are some expensive cars. Yeah, there are some set repetitions, which you can also add to the improvement topics. You see, it's the same car in both directions. But apart from this, it looks really natural, like not over the tops, Lamborghinis and Ferraris and stuff like this. And yeah, some people, but also not like it's like some type of festival or something. It's just people hanging out. Great, great looking foreground, so that we have a standpoint, like a stable standpoint to view from, and the building very well done. And yeah, you're right. I think the buildings, it was which one was it? This one that we saw. I
Mhm.
think it's just because you see the amount of work needed to pull this off, especially the bird views. So I think
Incredible,
he didn't have the time to
of
make
course.
them really realistic. But what we need to say is that I often see this with bird views when people just make such a boring roof landscape, where you just see plain roofs with nothing on top of them. And in the best cases, you see maybe a good, like detailed roof on the main building, but everything else is just flat. But take a look at the landscapes here. Take a look at how authentic this is.
Yeah, it's really a huge amount of work. I would, I think I would opt, because normally I have really not a lot of time to do everything so perfectly, so amazingly.
Maybe it's a studio work. We don't know. It's just one person posting, but we don't know. I really hope actually that more people worked on this, because if this is one person and then it turns out they did it in a week, I'll just leave this and go be a gardener, honestly. But it's really good. It's really good. And once again, I think the topic of urban context is so important. This is why they decided to put in all the work to show it from above. Not only because of these rooftop gardens, which are amazing as well, but also to show how it actually, because, once we see it, now try to imagine we are the people living in the city. And when we see it, we may actually say, you know what, it's a nice building, but I don't think it fits that greatly next to a building like this. And once again, better do it in this phase rather than build a building and then find out that it doesn't really suit the building next to it, because then it's really too late. And then it's the final shot, I think. This one, just seen from a different perspective. Some points about it. For some reason, I don't hear you, Mariana. Did you mute yourself?
It's better now.
Yes.
Yeah. My microphone switched off. I think it's like at some point it becomes tired. So
Stand by. Okay. So what did you say? Sorry.
I just said that I would add some more people to the rooftop. So but it's not so important because it's really far. But maybe it could help if you can zoom on it and just show that someone is using and enjoying the rooftop. Could be cool, but it's just a detail. It's really a detail.
Yeah, but they already put it in the work down here, so they can put it up here. I mean, you see it's already furnished and stuff. Those sunshades look a bit unrealistic. The shader is just too translucent, so work on the translucency or the opacity of this one. Just reduce it a bit.
Yeah, it's good that you zoom on it because we can see just some repetition on vegetation, but it's like the white pot.
Yeah.
Just it's the same model, but once again, it's just a detail. So
Nobody cares about it, right? In the end, I think. Yeah, no, it's just we also see the repeated car down here, but I gotta say I found out about it really late into looking into this image. I mean, there are some empty balconies, but of course, at some point, people need to deliver the images. So
exactly,
I think it's okay. Amit says your microphone is
amazing
overwhelmed
work.
with these amazing images, and Danush comment that he prefers the version with the straightened verticals. I think this is one of those images. It's like a bit of to each their own, and as Mariana said, they're a bit different. This is the more architectural image, and this is the more urban and emotional one. They're both good, but a bit for different reasons. Okay, shall we move on to the next one?
Of course.
Nice. Okay, next we have a work by Leslie. He writes, "Hello, everyone. These are some of my favorite shots from a commercial rendering of a coastal apartment interior I worked on, styled and rendered by me. It's done in 3ds Max and Corona. Shall we do it once again, image by image?"
Yes.
Okay, this is a new
If you
technique, but
agree.
I also like it. So let's move on.
Okay, so in this one, I found really very nice the overcast atmosphere, which makes it seem very, very, very realistic. I think that it's like it seems to be like a kind of hotel room, but maybe not. It's just an apartment, and I found that in this shot it's very balanced, and this one I liked most. The only thing maybe I would change is the right side of the image, where we have in the first plan this huge candle, or what is it?
Yeah, it's
And
a double can.
it could be doffed out. I mean, depth of field could maybe help with this. And if not, the textures are really amazing. The details, pillow here in the left side, like the detail of displacement of texture is really, really very realistic. I loved it a lot. And the color scheme, I found it also amazing. The only thing that disturbed me a little bit is this, just like this big surface, big dark surface on the right. But if not, it's super balanced and amazing.
And placing something on top of a book. Books
Maybe.
are no stages. Please, books are there to be read, or then put it in your library, but don't
Right.
put stuff on it, please. Yeah, I absolutely agree about the depth of field. I think this will help a lot. I mean, it's a very contrasty and dark wood what we have here. Not sure exactly why, because all the other wood that we have is very bright. So maybe he wanted it to differentiate from the parquet floor or something. But yeah, depth of field to focus on the bright parts of this apartment. And what about how have you? While studying architecture, you're a classic architect, right? You didn't study interior design, but architecture, right?
Architecture with yeah, and then I specialized myself in interior design, but it
Oh,
was like masters and so on, and nothing official.
because
So
I personally I've never learned something about material like construction materials, sure, but never the interior design materials or how to combine it. So everything that I know about it, I had to learn myself or from HDTV, which is something which I like to watch with my wife, because like the color scheme here. The moment I saw the session just as thumbnails, I knew that this needs to be a coastal style because of this white. Everything is mostly white and bright, and then you have the blue as an accent color, and then everything else is just wood or brass that goes together well. And also, I think it's. I'll just go quickly over to this
yes,
interior shot here. We have the stripes. Stripe patterns are also very very typical for this coastal type. So I think Leslie absolutely nailed the color scheme and the interior design of this
and
apartment.
shells everywhere. Also, no, there are some like sea motifs, like a shell on the table, then
Yeah,
some shells on the wall, and that's why I thought also that it's like something something like a Airbnb, not Airbnb, but something like a booking apartment for
yeah.
for a sea destination.
It's like a holiday apartment to book or something, or really an Airbnb. This is how I
Yes.
perceive it as well. Let's move on to the next shot. And yeah, this is just a straight
This
ahead.
is my favorite one, I must say, because it's like really like super well balanced in terms of composition, and it works really well. It even the lamps that are on are not disturbing me because it's like perfectly inside. So then you don't have an exterior that can distract. So it's great. Textures, tissues are great. Wood is amazing. I would like to touch it, right now because it's like,
Yeah,
inviting. The only thing maybe I'm always like a bit, the black surfaces are like it's a void for me. So it's where is it total black, under the sofa. Yes.
yeah,
So it's like I would maybe, but I think that it's a personal phobia. So I always try to make it like greyish because the black
yeah.
is like a empty space for me. So it's the only thing that I would change maybe. And then this is this fluffy cat. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think Mikkel, I heard somewhere or saw somewhere commenting on the door handles being black. He recommended for them to be brass, which I think also would be better. But on a shot like this, if there is not no contrast, like the contrast we see here, the strong tonal contrast, but we had brass, which is almost invisible, this area here will start falling flat. So I
Yes.
think this was maybe a decision made for the visuals. I'm not sure. But yeah, this shot is perfect. There is only one big issue, and this is once again putting deco items on top of books. I'm sorry. As long as there is keeping it realistic and me, this is always going to be something I will criticize you about, and I don't care. Okay, let's move on. We have a fraction of this image that you like so much. Now you say it's your favorite one because you say it on every image so far from this session. But the cat is a great addition, isn't it?
Yes, amazing. Of course, yeah. It's
Because
like
it doubles down on this leisure concept. Because if you have a coastal
yes,
apartment, this is not something which you immediately associate with work and stuff. It's you associate it with people having a good time, holidays, vacation. So having this cat sleeping here is such an elegant way of once again emphasizing this aspect of this apartment, I think,
yeah.
and it's very very well executed. Here, this shot.
Well, I found it like less balanced in the terms of composition, because you have everything in on the diagonal, creating this diagonal that can be interesting, but it makes it seem kind of unbalanced and like dense in a one way and not in the other way. So I would maybe change the slightly the angle, rotating towards left. So maybe it changed a little bit the composition. It
I
could help, I think. Or what do you think?
First of all, I want to say that I don't want to hear ever again from you that you can't provide good feedbacks, because so far your feedback and mine has been entirely the absolutely same. So either mine is bad or yours is alpha really really good, which I've been saying for a while now. Haven't I? But I absolutely agree. We have this is not balanced because we have this area where too much is happening, too many areas of interest in front of each other: the dining, the island, the kitchen. They're all interesting and good, but they're kind of cramped in one corner, and we have a huge empty space in the other
Exactly.
side of the image, which is not great. Personally, if we were to go back here, I think let me get where the hell. Let me try to get my Epic pen. It was there, but now it's hidden. So yeah, I think the camera is currently placed. So hello. Oh, it doesn't work with lives. Oh, come on. Okay, we'll do something else then. So, you see this, right? And I think the camera is placed somewhere here. And this is the angle. I think Leslie could place the camera somewhere here so that this part of the pillow and this part of the armrest are in the front and cover this empty space down here. You know?
Yeah, we were not seeing your drawing.
Oh,
So
oh, of course. Oh, of course, it doesn't work because I'm sharing only a window. Yeah, this is not my usual way of doing it. Yeah, so we should just. I suggest going back with the camera like a step, because this is where the couch is. So here is
Mhm.
the camera right now. If we put the camera here, we'll have the pillow and the armrest in front of the camera, covering this empty area on the floor,
It's a great.
and he has used depth of field on it, obviously, and then it would be better. But this problematic still is given. So you still have too many things in front of each other. So the better option, the best option to me personally, would be to actually go closer to the dining area, get a bit higher, so that once you're closer, you see the dining in front of you and you see the space between the kitchen island and the kitchen. So this is,
Exactly.
but it's a tricky angle to show so many
Yes.
things in front of each other. Other than that, once again, it's great. And as Danushka says, um, I think it's necessary to add touches of contrast that keeps your eye excited, and this is why I think it's the black handles that Leslie chose to go with.
Yeah,
Amit
yeah,
says,
I'm not against the black itself, but just if it's too black,
yeah,
it's like catching attention, and
yeah,
it's just me maybe more gray, and then it
yeah,
helps, I think. But
brightening
it
it
may
up a
be
bit.
just a personal opinion, and this is a tricky angle, and also this is a tricky situation because you need to show big space, but
Yeah.
you need to it's really very tricky. So
Yeah,
good job for.
it is indeed. But let me tell you, people in the audience are very happy with what we are doing here. Amit says both you people are giving top-notch feedback and are toe to toe with each other. So
Oh, that's great.
thank you, Amit. Let's show Amit a heart. Can you do this, or you can show this one?
Thank you.
Um, but yeah, let's move off to the next shot. This dining room, and I gotta ask myself here, what type of scenario has two double beds next to each other? What do you think?
Exactly. That was why I was thinking that this must be like it seems to be like the shot of another project, which is a hotel room, because
Yeah,
you have, and not that expensive because you need a lot of like options of bed. So you have this sofa, which is super close, and you even don't have. I just don't want to criticize because it's like amazingly done and everything is great. But I think that in terms of like using the space, it's not so comfortable because you don't have that much space beside the bed for the side table, and the other bed is just in front of the window. So I was asking myself if it could be better, maybe just cut out one of beds, and if there is option to make it, I would make it just one bed and the sofa, because it's like for a big family or
yeah.
something. I don't know. What do you think?
I also ask myself. This is why I assume this is some type of a vacational rental apartment or something. Where, let's say, for a limited amount of time, let's say if I imagine me and my wife would go there with our two daughters, they will have a bed, we'll have a bed, and it will be okay. But this is not a long term condition for people to live in, because obviously the privacy part is going to be very,
Exactly.
very difficult. If it's a type of a hotel, or once again it's a type of vacational apartment, I think that's okay to have it like this. Then you have this one, you have a small work table where you can write a letter to send to your relatives at home or whatever. That's I think that's okay. What I'm more bothered by is something I think Amit addressed, is that the two beds are identical.
Exactly the same. Yes.
Yeah, and in this particular case, I would suggest using an FFD modifier eventually to change them a bit, or let's say the lazier solution. I'm always in for lazy solutions. Is to, let's say, put some type of a breakfast tablet on one of the beds. On the bed, on the one in the back, like a breakfast tablet with some breakfast on it, and a small vase with it's kitschy, yeah, I know, but it will make the bed look different than this one. And given that it's
Yes.
almost a bit overexposed here, it will be probably enough of a difference. Then some
Hmm.
FFD here, and then I think it's enough, honestly, because you don't want to start. Of course, you can do with Teflo, you can do a different cover or something, but it takes more time. And if
Yes.
there is an easy solution, why not go for it? And for this shot, um, Danushka suggested going for an 0.75 framing, which is, of course, you can also go for vertical or like square framing. But once again, those areas being in front of each other, the issue remains. So let's. Is there any? No, we're back at the first shot. Are we done with this one?
I think I already. Yeah, that's everything is set. So.
Yeah, I think it would have worked with a some soft direct sunlight, which is visible here as
Mhm.
well, because if you have this coastal atmosphere, you also hope to get some sun so that you can enjoy the beach. But
Yes.
it definitely works with this soft overcast scenario as well. It
I
really.
think that this overcast lighting is like it's always showing like more realistic because
Yeah,
the sun, the direct sun, sometimes it's like difficult to be handled, and it can quickly slide to an unrealistic
yeah,
way of showing the light. So here I just would say that the is a detail, but the reflection on the island are super high. So I don't know what material is it, but I think that it could be maybe just lowered a little bit. Whereas just uh, the kitchen island
yeah,
on the right side over
yeah,
there are just like huge reflections, so maybe it could be.
yeah. Thinking some appliances or something, but yeah, I didn't notice
uh,
it. So points for you. But all in all, Nguyen and now Leslie. amazing commercial works, right? Both of them.
Yeah, it's really great. I loved it. I enjoyed it. All details, all textures and lighting. Amazing, amazing job.
Same here. We had an exterior, we had an interior, and next project is going to be a very interesting and unique mix of both of them. Before we go, we have a question by Omokoku that actually Danushka or Amit already answered. How to get my work reviewed? Well, you just post in the group and then you'll get a review, some type of review. I cannot promise because you see, we don't want to have the show be 5 hours long. So obviously, we have to limit the amount of works we talk about during the live show. But you get some feedback in written form, at least in the show. And of course, depending on your work, if it's, let's say, exciting or interesting enough, or if it fits the topic of the show that we have, we can also get it over there as well. But one thing you can count on is getting some written feedback by amazing people who are really, really eager to help you, being it Mariana or Amit or Danushka or Abdi or many, many others, Sheriff. I don't want to call all their names, but let's move over to this very, very exciting project that to me as an architect felt like something entirely new that I haven't seen in this form before. I think you know what I'm talking about. It is this project by Nael. This is another name which I'm not certain how to pronounce, but it's a farmhouse project located in Libya and yeah, done in 3ds Max and Corona. Let's go through the images. What do you think about this one, Maria? Have you seen
Well,
something like
it's
this? Have you concepted something like this?
no, no, not at all. It's like, the atmosphere is amazing here, and you would like to jump directly in this swimming pool because you would like to stay there. And I liked a lot the detailed model of lamps which are in front. It's really great. I really loved it. I would say maybe once again, the swimming pool full of leaves, maybe it's not that I don't know, if it's something that you have to sell to clients, it's not really a good publicity, so maybe I would clean it out. And but it's just my point of view. Then the depth of field in the beginning, in the front part of the image, could be useful because you can, if you can deft out the sofa, which is very present,
It's very
and
dark.
maybe, yeah, too. And the part of the table, maybe, so it could be better focused on the swimming pool.
Yeah.
And also, maybe, I think that this is a huge potential of this scene. I would maybe try to work a little bit more on different models. I don't know, the sunbeds and so on, but because now it seems like a bit like a repetition, and then doesn't seem that comfortable to stay there.
Yes.
So,
It's like for
so
Minecraft.
maybe,
It's really blocking.
yeah, exactly. So maybe it's like I would switch from this like a bit rudimental models to something more comfy, because I think that we can see well the contrast between these lamps that are that well done details and super comfortable, to this blocky furniture. And I think that if the author can find a balance between, to make
Yeah.
it that comfortable, that lamps, it will be amazing. Just, I think that the atmosphere lighting is really inviting, and it's just to put a bit more love to furniture and make it, feel like it's something that you want to spend your holiday. So
Yeah.
you want
Lying
to
on.
stay.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
what do you think?
yeah. I mean, this is the tricky part with with minimalism. Because you don't know if this is actually something which costs like a few couple of thousand because it's some designer minimalist whatever, or if it's just a poor model. This is how I see minimal. Even though I myself enjoy minimalistic things, but I fully agree with you. This doesn't really seem cozy or something that it's comfortable to lay on for hours or sit on for hours. But it definitely suits the design of the tables that, on the other hand, seem very much like a well done and high quality model. So it's this simplicity and those things definitely suited, because if they were more prominent, then we'll have too much going on around this pool, and at some point it will be an overloaded scene. Whereas now it kind of fits, but also I think that it's not the most comfortable thing. And once again, here the blacks. This is just so. This is like pitch black already. So use depth of field, brighten it up a bit, and then it's set. But it's a marvelous scene. And what I really enjoy here, before you say what you think about this one, is how many different lighting moods we have in this one. I think
Yes.
there is like overcast, high sun, low sun, evening, and this exploration is something which I truly enjoy. Also, the exploration of angles, like normal angles, fisheye, isometric, whatever. It's cool. It seems like
That's
somebody really
great.
wanted to do something, right? You agree?
Yes, I agree with you. I think that it's really important if we work with the same scene to change always at least the lighting, if not, the position of furniture or position of people, because it seems like it's shut out if it's the same thing, so it's shut out. Hey, I'm a render, but if you change the lighting and you change the position or something, so it's like immediately like something more real and authentic too. In this shot, I really love this this lighting which is coming behind the palm tree, and how
Blue.
it is reflecting in the pool. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. The
Really,
pool is really cool, and this is where the leaves actually look amazing. But I absolutely agree with you. This is a very, very solid point. We need to understand that when we're people of service. There is a difference between us creating free time work and a commercial work. We deliver a 3D service, and when we do that, it's important that we deliver what helps others sell either an idea or an apartment or whatever. And sometimes I feel like some artists want to show off how what a great skills they have with all of those, weathering effects and dirt and leakages. But a newly established building shouldn't actually have leakages, or they should be very, very subtle and minimalistic up to the point where you barely see them. So, once again, what Mariana said here is an extremely valid point, because if you show this, you already show an issue. To us, visually, this is beautiful, but to somebody who will own this pool, this is an issue. This is a cost point, because they'll have to have somebody come and clean it up or do it themselves.
exactly.
S-
Exactly, yeah.
So this is why it's a bit of an issue, and we should think about things like this. So you can deliver something to a client and then go over and add all the leakages, weathering, paint and the scratches and whatnot. But for now, also try to be a bit more subtle with all those effects. Like a few leaves in a pool would be okay, but these are too many, I think. But other than that, I agree. It's a very, very nice shot. And of course, one can say, well, why do you do an overcast shot with a pool? Because we need a sunny mood or something like this, so that people know or need to appreciate the existence of a pool. Because if you have a sunny shot, it means like it's most likely warm, and then it means that you enjoy the pool. While with an overcast shot, maybe it's cold, we have autumn leaves. Even is the pool even a quality with a condition like this? But I personally enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, it's a great. I think it's really a great.
Problems with the mic again?
Yes, he was in standby. So I think that it's really great to use the model to study everything you can study on. So maybe it was the case that the person wanted to try everything, all skills and all scheme lights, light schemes and everything. So I really appreciate that we can see that much in just one model. It's
Yeah.
really great.
But this is something exceptional. Once again, it's very seldom to see such architecture. And if this is implemented one day, I would love to see the photos because this is something different for sure.
Yes.
So, yeah, I would also use it to try out different things because it's already interesting on its own. Once again, different mood, but very nice, right?
Yeah, it's really great. Here, I would just say I was looking to the texture of the sailing. I think that maybe it's just like downscaled, and there is a problem, in a round part. You can see that it's not mapped as it
You see here?
expected.
Oh, yeah.
There, yeah,
Oh, yeah,
exactly.
that's true. The mapping here is not right. I'd missed that. Once again, a
Yeah.
point for you. And the palm
That's good.
trees are very dark.
Hmm.
Comparably to everything else, you see how dark they are. It's actually not normal for a
Yes.
trunk of a palm tree to be that dark.
Hmm.
But this is something that can be easily fixed. What I really enjoy, however, is first of all the gobo effects on the floor. Amazing to look at. And then something like
Yes.
this. It looks like somebody maybe cut the plants like a gardener or something, and some of the plants just remained lying on the
Yeah.
floor.
Yeah.
Beautiful. This is just so beautiful to look at this part down here.
Mhm.
Great. Okay, let's go over to the next
Amazing.
one. Once again, just how
Yeah.
wild
Wow.
is this
My
concept
favorite
here?
one. This is my favorite one because it's like it is so majestic. I loved it because it's showing. I think that this is really great in terms of composition too, and materials also. You can see these amazing reflections on the sides. You can see the relief there, and I loved it really. It's amazing.
Yeah, there are some clippings here from the palm tree clipping
Yes.
through the ceiling, but yeah, it's not a big deal. But once again, the blacks too black. They need to be brighter a bit.
Mhm.
This one,
Uh, this one is the only one where feel really the emptiness, the absence of people.
yeah,
It's really boring that I am saying every time the same thing, but just in this shot, I would say that it's just this empty table. It's like something that it's not really inviting. I would say it's maybe just the personal point of view, but here I would maybe implement some people in the background, not on the table, because it would just catch attention a little bit too much, but in someone maybe walking, going to the swimming pool. Maybe this was not the goal, to just he or she wanted to show it like this, like an empty space ready to be used. But I don't know. I would maybe prefer some people here and there.
yeah, agree. It's also what Isaac says in the comments. The outdoor project is cool. Should have placed a few people. I also think, especially in the distance, then you don't need to care that
Hmm.
much if they're like 3D people that you enhance with AI or post them in post production as cutouts or whatever. But yeah, an empty table is I mean it's kind of tricky. It's inviting, but you definitely need the people somewhere so that you can
Hmm.
imagine that later, after finish being in the pool, they can come over and sit on the table and enjoy a meal or something. But
Yes, exactly.
10 points for scattering, right? It's really,
Yeah, it's amazing. Really, the vegetation. Wow, it's incredible. Also, I appreciate it a lot. The chair models here are really like it's placed in a very natural way. Also, the changing of colors. It's great. I think that here is here I have an impression that the models are like high poly and really search and really like comfortable, and it
yeah,
matches the atmosphere.
that's true. That's true. And coming back to the greenery, I also really appreciate how the green tones are very harmonious with each other. If you
Yes.
want to get the attention of the viewer to your greens, if this is like the main aspect of your shot, which is absolutely legit, thing to do, then you can go for more variation. But in a case like this, you see already how much is going on. We have the pool, we have the table, we have the table decoration. If we now have different colored shrubs and trees and stuff, this will just be an absolute visual overload and not pleasant to look at. But now what we have is the greens being so harmonious that we just view them as exactly this, as greens. Like it's a green surrounding. We don't care if this is this type of shrub and some other type. It's about the green surroundings. So you see why we do this. We obviously cannot talk about 50 projects because the show will be would take forever, and this we don't have this time and you don't have this patience. But we try to also tackle general topics like this one so that you, the audience, and everyone watching the show can learn also from these small aspects that we discuss in these shows that are of very general nature. So that next time you do this, you see how many thoughts can be implemented in a simple image. It's not just an image and its ingredients. It's also stuff that you put it's like subliminal messages that you put inside as well. Like once again, I think in the past I have talked about this. When you put bicycles rather than more cars in an area, it means like that the people who live there probably, I don't know, those associations that they care about nature, that they would rather ride a bike than a car, that it's more silent and a more laid back neighborhood, all of those things. It's not just I put the bicycle because I have this asset and I don't have a car asset. It's a deliberate choice. And here, once again, the greenery with so much going on in the roofs, in the pool and the table, the furnishing. If the greenery would be very, very colorful and stuff, it will be just something that you won't enjoy looking at. So now the
I
greenery,
agree.
that greenery. Agree?
Agree.
Uh, okay,
I
let's move
agree.
to the next one. This is actually the first mostly architectural shot, right?
Yes, yes, you're right. Once again, what is catching my attention here is the vegetation because it's like, it's receiving more light than the building itself. And it's always, when I see images with the vegetation, like full of vegetation, it immediately makes me feel better. Like, like there is a hope.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed the geometry of this building because it's like very smooth and well done, well modeled. And here I found that it's really, it's very nice because the texture in front of the, tiles on the ground it's like it could be like too long to see, but there are so many things that are passing here that it's like, it's not annoying because there are leaves, there are, the texture which is not so regular. So I really enjoyed this shot. This is one of my favorites, I think.
I agree. It's the foreground is not boring, and it's actually part of this whole composition. This is why I actually shouldn't be zooming in that much because the balance here in the composition comes from the big background. If we had just a part ending somewhere here, it wouldn't have the same impact on the viewer. And as for the greenery, I think once again that this is a deliberate choice that we need to look at the greenery rather at the building. The building is the backbone, but the greenery, the lush greenery, is what we need to, I think, focus on more on this specific
Mhm.
shot. You see, actually, the buildings, the villas or farmhouse or whatever it is, they are never the main heroes of this render session. So I think it's more about the greenery actually and the free space rather than the greenery. So it seems like it
Mhm.
works. Another great shot, evening shot.
Yeah, this is the good one. I really loved the lighting in the pool because it's very very well done. It's very authentic, also realistic.
Yeah,
And maybe I would just broke this symmetry in front of the. You can maybe make it by using depth of field and just blur it out so that we can just, yeah, for instance like this, and then depth of field
yeah.
on the first plan, and so it can be just focused on this amazing. It's really amazing, caustics amazing, surface, water surface amazing, lights amazing. So I would just put the main attention to this pool, which is like, wow, shining. What
I
do you
don't think
think?
we need anything in the foreground, honestly, or if something, then something really simple, like a poo towel or something like this, thrown on the floor, so get very casually. Now we have some elements that once again are very very dark. The cherries, the leaves of these tree, they're almost pitch black, which is of
Hmm.
course very contrasty. Takes a lot of attention that isn't needed. I think just a few of those scattered leaves and maybe a towel or some wet footprints on the floor suggesting that somebody was in the pool and just left would be enough, because we already have enough to look at. But I gotta say, Mariana, I absolutely love discussing and reviewing projects with you. Maybe consider another career. Um, let's take a look at
That's
the
great.
next one.
Yeah,
Once
this
again,
is interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
experimenting. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's amazing. Yeah, I'm not, a very experienced with this kind of view, and I found it really like inspiring.
Yeah, it's. I would have made sure to fit in the whole pool inside, so that
Mm,
not just a tiny part isn't doesn't fit within the framing. But I also enjoy how we have a bit of a sky up here.
yes.
And
Yeah.
once again,
That's
it's experimental. I think the next shot, I hope it is. Yeah, take a look at this one. This could
my
be
favorite one.
like a Disney turned 3D
Yeah,
or
yeah,
Studio Ghibli turned 3D, even more of the latter actually. But this makes me think that this is a session where he just wanted to play around, fool around with 3D and experiment, because this is just a wonderful storytelling shot. Such a feel good, don't you think?
yeah. It's amazing because immediately I was thinking about the like spirit scenes of little cats just trying to evoke a spirit of butterfly. So it was like I enjoyed it a lot because it's like and here I think that it's really important that you immediately see the main hero. This is a really minimalistic scene because you have
Yeah.
less elements, you have a good use of depth of field, and it's focused immediately on these kittens. And the important thing for me that they are not in the center; they are just like how do we can we
In the
say it
double,
in
in the
English in
bottom third.
area? Yeah, exactly, in a third. So I found this one. I think that for me is the best shot. All shots are amazing, but this is really my favorite.
Yeah, the isometric camera is also very nice, and the lighting composition, it absolutely works. And the storytelling, of course, it doesn't
Yeah.
make sense in real time, in real life conditions, but it's just a feel good shot, and those are always nice. This is once again an eye catcher. This is something that you can
Yes.
put somewhere in a booklet, and people will just enjoy looking at. And especially, let's say this is a farmhouse which is supposed to be sold, and then you sell it to people with kids, and then the family goes through the booklet, and then the kids will see this and say, this is the house we need to buy, because there are kittens there looking at butterfly spirits. But one issue I see here, the leaves
Mhm.
flipping through the plane, just offset them a bit on the z-axis, like 0.5
Yes.
centimeters, 5 millimeters, and then
Mhm.
it would be
Mhm.
good. But yeah, and we're back at the first shot. I think another amazing commercial work, very interesting as well. To me, this
Yes.
architecture was so exciting to look at.
And it's also very inspiring to see the someone testing all possibilities of a scene. It's really great.
Yeah, totally plays into my cards, because I often tell you, being a lazy artist, when I already put in the work to create something, I want to make the most out of it. I never do one shot and then call it a day. I will always try a close up here and there, different angles, some interesting angles, something like the cat shot. Who cares? It's I'm an artist. I'm not only a machine, I do what I want, and at some point I can imagine, that even happens. This, going back to our challenge, that sometimes really happens when I go with a client through my page, and we're looking for a reference. We're in the beginning of the project, we have a live call, and we go through my page to see if there is some reference they will immediately like, because this is something I would have worked on, and it's a very close reference then. And then we go through stuff, and then they go like, oh, this is a nice atmosphere, but this is like a skeleton. This has nothing to do with Arvis, but they love that it is something different. It catches their attention. So why not do more out of your works? And if you go to my gallery, you will see how many shots there are that, something like this. This
Mhm.
is not an
Mhm.
RP shot. This doesn't sell this fire department, but it sells an emotion, and this is what clients actually tend to enjoy, or something like this. I've never was into. Oh, thank you. I never was into selling racks. It's just
Mhm.
a part of an interior that I made. You see it here in the corner, but I just love this cozy evening mood. So I took a separate shot out of it, added it to my portfolio. And now sometimes when we talk about, like, I have a client who does lamps, and sometimes when we go through my portfolio to go to see some fitting situations for lamps, we go through this one and he's like, "Oh, I love this one. Can you make me another one?" So you never know. Don't give up on your things just because
Yeah,
it's
you're
not
right.
commercially relevant. Right? You
That's
agree?
completely true. Yes.
Okay, let's then move over. After three commercial works, let's move over to the last one, which is a personal exercise, but very artsy one because it's actually inspired from painting. It is this work by Georgi, and I don't know. I cannot open it, I guess, because if I open it, I will absolutely lose it. Let me see if I can make it work. No, of course not. So we'll have to go back and search for Georgi's work. I'm very sorry for that. I don't understand what happens with Facebook. Some projects I can open the images and then I can view the original project. On other projects, I cannot do this anymore. I don't know why it doesn't work, and yeah, I don't know what to do. So we'll need to scroll down through a ton of amazing projects to reach Georgis. And he says, "Hello, community. After a long pause, I present to you this drawing I used as an inspiration. I'm very interested in your opinions and evaluations. Thanks in advance. It's done in Corona and 3ds Max." So, Georgi is interested in our evaluations and opinions. What do you think, Mariana? So, let's
Well,
maybe first show the image.
yeah, yeah. In fact, I absolutely loved the story behind this work, because I found it really like a super nice exercise, something that passion you, so you can take the inspiration from this and make something completely different. And I also loved, the two schemes, color schemes and light schemes
Yeah,
he
this
used.
one and this one. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's so different that I barely saw, the same main hero here, because I thought that maybe it was two different models. Just, and when I saw it the second time, I said, okay, so it's the same. It's the same type of car. What I was just wondering why the main hero is blurred out here. It means it's like a dynamic. It's very, it's coming like through the image, and it's like leading you towards the mountains, and it's like completely different from the picture he was inspired by, because here the main hero is like steady, and you put your attention on this. But in the render, it's like a passage, and it's like a way, and so it's like it's he's leading you towards the image to somewhere else, and this is what I really I was amazed by, because it's something that if I wanted to do it, it's not so easy to achieve. So this was really a point for me. Or what do you think?
So, my friends, this is the last show with me. Next time we'll have Mariana. You don't need me anymore. Um, but yeah, I fully agree. These are wonderful observations. I think Georgi had this one, and I think this is one of those images. This is exactly what happened with this skeleton that you just saw, that you also saw hanging in the Corona headquarters. This is actually a painting that we have hanging at home. This is something we received from my late from my wife's late dad, and which we cherish a lot. I love the image. I love the painting, and at some point, I really wanted to reproduce it, but create my own take. I stuck very close to it because I really like the original in every aspect. But in this particular case, I really enjoy how Georgi didn't decide to just reproduce it, but create his own take based off of this one. And you're right, this one focuses a lot on the car itself, and everything else is a bit of a backdrop, but maybe without the sky, because the sky is once again a very important element here, also compositionally seen. Whereas what Georgi does here is tell a bit of a different story using the same, let's say, ingredients and perspective. But as you say, his car is moving towards the mountains, so it's more about the journey and where he's headed to rather than the car itself. Now, on the day shot, this doesn't make that much sense because it's, during the day there is enough light, so motion blur doesn't happen that easily, especially if a natural shot like this. Whereas on the evening shot, it makes a lot more sense because obviously then the aperture closes way slower and it does let more light in. And of course, this is where motion blur happens. Of course, when we want to be very technical about this, if the car is in motion and we have so many scattered leaves, the scattered leaves behind the car should also be in motion, kind of, I don't know the right word here, but they should be stirred up, you know, and also flying
Yes.
around. So this is about 3D scattering rather than 2D scattering. And I also wouldn't scatter the leaves like this because usually if you take a look at the real life scene, you will see that the leaves on the streets are scattered towards the edges or maybe in the middle line, but not just so randomly as they are here,
Yes.
because this makes it look like this is a role that hasn't been used for a while, which I don't think is the case. But apart from this, I really, really enjoy that he didn't decide to just copy, but create based on a reference. And
Yeah, exactly.
these are
Yeah,
two
the
different
principle is
processes.
amazing.
Sorry,
Sorry.
you.
The principle is really amazing here. The only thing maybe that catches my attention was the building behind that is, it's like too lighted because normally, the light is not behind us. So it seems like there are some spotlights lighting the building. I would
Yeah,
maybe prefer it was more dark so I can concentrate myself to this journey of the car, and then mountains they are
or
like
like here.
making the background. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So just the one point I would like to say, but
By the
yeah.
way, when we discuss the framing, you see that a framing like this, what we currently have, works great as well, right? Let's see
Yes.
why the other one is better. Because once again, as we just said, it's about the journey, it's about the ride. And a ride like this, especially in a cabrio, is about freedom. And if you want to emphasize that freedom, you need space. Freedom is the opposite of being enclosed, right? So you need space. And this is why the original image has this type of sky. It would have, once again, here, it could have worked if it was something like this. But then it would be
Mhm.
a car driving somewhere. But it's about not about the car, it's about the journey. This is why you need so much sky, because of the freedom that you symbolically want to present to your viewer. This is how I perceive it. Remember, take everything I say or we say here with a grain of salt. It's just that it's based on experience, it's based on many observations, and it's mostly true. But yeah, anyway, a bit of criticism I have because, and Georgi is somebody who actually listens to feedback and goes back and reworks things. This is why it makes a lot of sense. Um, I saw some unnecessary repetitions here. You see how this tree is just repeated a few times here in the back. You can see the same pattern here at the tree crown. And it is an easy fix. You just need to scatter, adding some randomization when it comes to rotation and to scale. And what you can also do, and this is something very, very nice to do, especially when you have trees in the distance or forests, is to also add some material randomization using multi-map in Corona for the opacity. Then you can have different densities for the amount of leaves on the trees and also on the diffuse color so that you have some variation and it's not the same green everywhere. And make sure that just the variations are very, very slight so that it's just lively but not too much. And as for the aerial perspective, you see the aerial perspective on the mountains. It looks amazing, but then on the trees we have almost none of it. So I would try to get some fog also over those trees, so that we have a bit of a smoother transition between foreground, midground, and background. So try to get some aerial perspective on the trees as well. But other than that, this is something really, I think it was very, very good for the artist. So I hope, because when I do stuff like this, I'm always very happy in the end. I don't know. You said you don't do so much this type of works. So I think because this was the last shot we wanted. Oh no, you wanted to show us something, right?
Maybe, yeah. I
Yeah.
just wanted to share something. Actually, it was the first Corona project I did,
Great.
and it's. I think it's interesting because of the workflow I used.
Please do. This is very
Because,
interesting. We tried it last time with Pedro, where he showed us a bit of a glimpse, where he gave us a glimpse behind the scenes of a recent project.
Mm,
It was so interesting to just see an artist talk about their work and not about other people's work. So after 4 works, I think it's time to take a look at yours. I'll stop sharing so that you can start doing it. And I'm really excited what you want to show us,
uh,
Marianne. And afterwards, we
I
can do a Q&A. We're two
so
hours in. Are you tired?
me no.
Yeah, sitting on a chair on
I
the
don't.
table.
It's very comfortable here. So
Amit says, bring it on, Mariana. We'd love to see it. Yeah, we definitely do.
So, what was the project? I just wanted to show you quickly if we can see it. Maybe not.
So Mariana is sitting in her presentational room on a chair, on a table for us to see her better. So this is her really, um, giving it all for
Special.
us.
So this was a huge residential project, which was a kind of competition by invitation. So it was like the third phase we done, and we wanted to, of course, we didn't have time, or not of course, but we didn't have time to show everything. So the point was just to choose some of the angles that could show what are the subjects and what are the typologies. And we had this kind of building. Oops. With bricks, with the brick variation, and
You can
then,
you can gladly enlarge the images, please, so
yeah,
that
of
we see
course,
more of them, or make
like this.
them make
Oh,
them full screen.
like
Nice.
this, is it okay? So
Yeah.
this kind of building with bricks, and this kind of building made with the wood. And in fact, what we wanted to do is to profit at maximum of everything we done. So I had to, for instance, this model is exactly the same as this one. I just changed the angle and the color scheme, and we reuse it as it was. So it was like, I had often I have to make like these smart decisions, because if not, I don't have time to make everything as it should be. So I'm trying always the reuse models like geometries, but I never make the same type of lighting, like not exactly the same. And I always try to change the furniture configuration, people position, and so on. I would say I would like to criticize myself, because I know my points that are not yet good. So, for instance, for me, the huge problem is the surrounding. I mean, asphalt and the street. I try to avoid always making shots with a lot of uh, big portion of asphalt or street, because it's like very tricky for me to make it appear like inviting, So I always try to make something like this with grass and plants and so on, and just hide it. So this is something that I would have to fix better. The tiling, in front of the surrounding and so on, because it looks really flat, and I don't like it. So this is something that I would like to improve. This project was done making the geometry, because I was not familiar with rail clone yet. So I made geometries, and it was like a manual variation. And of course, it was not smart. It took me a lot of time. And this was something I was asking in the group. And a lot of people told me the different manners to do it, to make it with railcone and some other instruments. So in fact, in this I would like to show the other project.
Can you? It was done
Yeah,
in Max and Corona, right?
yeah, exactly.
Your first Corona shot project.
Yeah, my first Corona project. And you can see that, for instance, I didn't use forest pack yet, so there is something, some things that I didn't use that I would have to use. But I was not familiar with, because it was like the first month with the Corona and 3D Max. So I was like overwhelmed by learning. So, but I think that this one could be done like much more quickly than I've done it. But I learned a lot about scattering, about how it works with geometries in 3D Max. What are the weak points, like blocks or something, and what are the strong points, like it's super light. Models are super light and are very handy. It's not, it's at least in my case, if I am saving really frequently, it's not crashing. So it was great. And this
Did you
was,
use the chaos scatter for this one?
yes.
Well, it's just,
And
it does a great job, right? I mean, I also have forest
yeah,
pack, but sometimes I use chaos scatter if I want it to be really quickly. If I want to be able to set up like everything, I would go with forest pack. Or if I want to use one of the preset libraries from forest pack, I
yes,
also use it. But I think both are legit solutions. It's not like you necessarily need to go for forest pack. See how it. I mean, if you do a lot of these greenery that you show here, I recommend going for forest pack. But if it's not so important that everything is exactly as it, like with landscape,
yes.
with landscape architects and so on, and it's just more about just making nice looking greenery, the chaos scatter will be really more than enough. Also, it's developing the whole time as well. What a forest pack has, of course, is the forest ivy, which is great if you do something which is more like nature bound, because you can very easily show where your ivy is going, or select where your ivy is going and control it, rather than using those ready-made models that you need to adapt.
Yeah, I was discussing this theme with Simon, who asked me if I would recommend Forest Pack, and I said, for the moment, I haven't learned that much that I could say if yes or not. But I think that Chaos Scatter is super handy because super fast, and you can control it really like it's super easy. It's like like
Yeah.
a toy, and so I would recommend it, at least at first glance, at first step, when you are starting with Corona as me. So it's really like it's saving a lot of time. So I would say that it's really really handy. And as you said, if it's not focused on vegetation, I mean here, it's it's the first plan, so it should be done better. But however, in the competition, it worked really well. So I think that chaos scatter is really something very strong. And this is the second
Let me
project.
interrupt you, please. Let me
Yes.
interrupt you for a second, because I want to say that I absolutely agree with Amit and Danushka that this doesn't look like a very first project from anyone, because this is very, very, very. I mean, I see it in small rail, but this is really solid looking. This has atmosphere. This is doing a lot of things right. They look good, these images, and especially we need to consider this is for done for a competition, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
competitions are limited in time. You don't have like an year to work on. This is so,
Yes.
creating the architecture and also creating such visuals for a competition. This is really amazing, Mariana. So heads off.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, guys. It's really kind from you. But I would like to say the second project I made with Corona here, I already used the rail clone, and it was like it was done like in third of part of the time I used for the first one, because it was everything was like parameterized. So railing, here you can see that there's a huge amount of blinds and so on. Then there are oriented. So make it manually would be really like super boring and super long
Tedious.
to
Yeah.
be done. But Rayclone, this I think that Rayclone is something. It's one of the motivation I moved to 3D Max, because it's really like it's something amazing, because it saves time. It's like I need to change really very often, because it's like I'm not doing the final shot that is defined. It's always like we make a model, then we work on it, and we change a lot of things during the
Yeah.
workflow, during the
Conceptual
the
phase.
exactly. So it's very important to have the possibility to change quickly materials, forms, composition, elements and everything. And with this, Corona 3D Max with Corona is like 3D Max with Railcon and Corona are like the best, because as you said, with Corona you hit the render and everything is like set, and you don't have to do much to have a good images. So that's it.
I think that if Abdi was with you in the room, you'll get one of the biggest hugs you have ever experienced ever. Because I think you broke his heart when you said that you did all the balconies and all the stuff manually in the very first for the first
I
project that you
this
showed.
one.
So knowing that you've now moved over to Railclone and use parametric tools to make your work easier, more flexible, I think, yeah, he says true. I think it's something which kind of saved his life. And obviously, yeah, this is absolutely true. I also adore Railclone, even though I'm not a power user or as good as somebody like Abdi. I still love how nice it is, and how much opportunities it has, and how much time you can save, and that flexibility that you spoke about, like you have to shorten
Yes,
something or change it, and you can do it by just a few clicks instead of reworking the whole geometry. uh, this,
exactly.
this is a huge deal. And of course, what I previously said, it's not a chaos keta versus forest back to me. I think, as you said, if people really want to do a bit of grass, a bit of plants, and that's everything they do, I think the chaos scatter is more than enough. If you really want to go big, as Abdi puts it here, Forest Pack is just too powerful, and it comes with many great features, also supports tie flow and animated objects. So yeah, obviously, if you want to really do a ton of things with something like Forest Pack, then go for it. There is also a free version, which I think supports only one scatter, but you can still play around with it if you don't want to spend the money. And if you're convinced that this is what you need, and this is way better, or it suits your needs better than Chaos Scatter, then obviously invest in it. As you know, I myself have it as well and use it gladly. But sometimes it's just that Chaos Scatter is enough, and especially if you're learning and you want to do it, or you don't want to spend additional money, this is a very, very good solution. And then later you can move over to Forest Pack. So, but it's great to hear that you decided to make the most out of the new tools that you decided to go for, and not only use Max and Corona, which, as you said, are you feel are like more realistic compared to Rhino with V-Ray, which I think makes sense, because as far as I can tell, back when I was a Rhino user, it
Mhm.
felt like that Rhino for V-Ray was a kept version of Rhino for Max. I didn't have many features like all the others had these mid or high settings or something like this, and I had to do it manually. So I can imagine that this is why this is where this difference comes from. Even though I know artists that do amazing works with Rhino and V-Ray, but I think they really had got to dive really deep into the settings of V-Ray and stuff to make it work. And I think that now with Max and Corona especially, you have a way more straightforward workflow. And using those parametric tools in such a, you added a new 3D software, a new render engine, and parametric tools in such a short time. So absolute respect to you, Mariana.
Thank you. Thank you, my friend.
Isaac says Mariana's work is beautiful. The lighting, weather, and foliage are really superb. Almost convinced to switch from Unreal. You see, your work, you started in the beginning of the year and is already making people switch over. So if this is not
That's
a
great.
compliment, I don't know what is.
It's amazing.
Great
you.
comment, Isaac, and to all of you. It seems like you really, really enjoy it. Mikkel asks, and I think with his question, we can go over to the Q&A section. We're 2 hours and 20 minutes in, and we're all still up and running, so we can do it. Mikkel asks, do you do post-production to, let's say, the images that you've shown? Is it more or less the render as it is with some?
No, it was no Photoshop there.
Well, okay.
Because I had no time really. It was like, I had to make like six shot in 10 days, I think. It was like super hard. So I had no time to make Photoshop. So, but it showed, yeah, I maybe I would like, I would like to enhance people and then enhance vegetation a little bit, but there were no time really. So.
Well, now you have the Chaos AI enhancer for the 3D people
Yes.
and a huge, huge library of 3D people in the Cosmos gallery, which I'm really amazed by because I used to spend a lot of money buying single models for something like 20 euro each. So having so many and with variations and everything, and now the enhancer to immediately enhance them, I think this will help you even further, especially with competitions.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, of course, you can also use Magnific or outsource, the enhancement, but with the AI enhancer, it's already there, So, yeah, this is really cool. I have really many questions for you, and you guys can also ask questions or send me questions over for Mariana to answer. My first question was because you said somewhere that you usually don't do free time works like the one by Georgi. So how do you train your skills then? Just with your commercial work?
Yeah. I normally I take like the commercial models or actual project, and I make like I try to apply different schemes of lighting, material, change the geometries, and so on. And but because I have these two big hobbies, so I don't have, and one daughter, so I don't have so much time. I would like to make more in my free time, but I cannot. So I just I try to profit from the objects and projects we have to train out my skills.
So you use existing work to experiment on, so to speak?
Yeah, normally I take one we done and then I develop it, or I try to apply skills I'm learning and so on. So I just use models I have, or sometimes I take some models that are there are available, in the learning pages and so on. But normally I used hours because I know better the model, I know the principle, so it's like easy for me.
Nice. As far as I can tell, or through this announcement, it seems like a huge amount of models from Evermotion will be added to the Cosmos library. And I think at some point soon, we really won't be needing to buy some additional models. But of course, at the end of the day, we don't want to all use the same models, even though if I got it correctly, that 30,000 models are going to be added, then I don't think this will run out of ideas very quickly with them. So I think soon you won't be needing this at all. which is great. There are some questions already dropping, but I want to ask you something else before that.
Mhm.
So, how did your transition between Rhino with V-Ray to Max and Corona go? How did you do it? First of all, did you visit a course or something, or did you do it on your own? Tutorials?
Well, I did it on my own. There are some amazing manuals on YouTube and also on 3ds Max page. So I went through these tutorials and just tried to, yeah, it was like, I had like maybe 2 weeks of free time during a Christmas holiday. So I I try to learn as much as possible from YouTube, and I didn't buy the course because I found that the learning page in 3D Max is really complete, and in YouTube you have a lot of like maybe single themes, but it's really like really well done because we are a huge community of 3D Max users. So I think that there is no need to really buy 3D Max course for me.
That's awesome. That's really great to hear for people, because maybe some people think, well, I'd like to move over to Max or Corona or V-Ray, whatever, but I don't have like tons of money to visit courses
Hmm.
or to invest in courses. So it's great to hear an artist who obviously does a very good job with this say, hey, yeah, no, I did it on my own. Well, of course, we also have the Chaos Academy, where you can learn a lot, and tons of nice tutorials and courses, as Mariana says. So yeah, join a group, join a community, learn there. And yeah, this is how I think you probably also learned Rhino with V-Ray for ArcViz, because this I also did the same. And there were no courses. Even if you were willing to invest into something, there was nothing to invest into. So
Yes.
okay, now we change the pace a bit, and want to ask you a bit of a more general question. Have you considered becoming a full-time 3D artist, or eventually building your own studio? This is a question by Mika.
I was, but actually, I'm really enjoying the process, the creative process of architectural creation. So, I mean, it's very important to me to take part of, also the, uh, planning of spaces and how it works and so on. So I think that it would be maybe not so good for me
Not,
because
not enough for you.
it's like a part of my architectural being, but not I'm not so focused only on images. It's something that I make with a big passion because it's something that I really adore. Making visualization is something that I always loved a lot, but I think that the process that is behind this is this has the same importance for me. So I don't think so.
You need to concept the architecture that you visualize first.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So okay, how about, have you thought about going solo in this regard? So being an architect that also visualize their works, or do you prefer working in a team?
Well, I think that I'm a very I socialize a lot with people. So when I have the possibility to discuss the project, it's like it's always a way better than if I make it myself only, because it's always like these trends and opposite opinions are leading to something better. So I prefer, even if it's like 3 person, it's enough, but someone to discuss with, it's really, really important for me.
I understand. This is what we try to do with our Chaos Campus community. Just establish this huge virtual studio of 3D artists that can always go to a nearby artist and just ask, like, tell me, what do you think? This is what we do. This is why we have the work in progress Fridays and stuff, because an opinion is extremely important. This feedback, I totally understand this. I would have next asked you if you have considered becoming a full-time dancer, but you kind of answered it already in the beginning, saying that you were dancing a lot, but you wanted to go back to the studio. But we have a question from Amit about your dancing. He's very worried about intruding your privacy or asking too much of a personal question. But he says, sorry, but your profile has so many beautiful pictures, which I kind of second. So I hope you don't mind him asking, are you a professional dancer or is it just a hobby? And does it help you relax, or do you do it often, or is it just something that you do during festivals or occasions or something?
Yeah, it's as I said at the beginning, I started to dance when I was 5 or something. So I went through the like a classic formation, classic dance, modern dance, contemporary dance, and then when I moved to Italy, I discovered Afro dance, and it was something like a hit, to my heart directly. So I began to make a really intense formation with different professors. And when I moved to Tenerife, I had the occasion to teach. So I opened my own school, dance and percussion school, and we had a lot of lessons, every day, events, and in the weekend, and so on. And when I moved to Switzerland, I was offered to make two dance courses, to teach in two different places. So I catch the occasion, and this is something teaching learn you a lot, because if you have to teach someone something, it's like you have to really go deep inside these movements and the rhythm and understanding of everything. So for me, it's something it's like I would like to make it more. Now I'm making like two courses per week. I would like to dance maybe 3 or 4 times per week. It would be great, but not something that would, pushed away the architecture career. So just, it's something that is really complementing. It also helps a lot to free the mind. It's really something great, because if I have a lot of problems at work, a lot of stuff I cannot solve, and I go to the dance lesson, then it's much easier to solve everything. So I don't know if I answered the questions correctly.
Oh yeah, you definitely did. So it seems like this is your hobby that you really want to keep doing, and it has an important part in your life, but you don't want to make it your everything, and
Exactly.
architecture or everything about it. And I truly understand. And I guess, I mean, you already said it, that it helps you free your mind. I assume it helps you also keep your body healthy and fit, which is easily visible. So yeah, but great. Now this is amazing. It's great that you have something that you it's not just like, once a year when I have time I'll do it. It seems like
Mhm.
part of your schedule. And I think it also helps with your visualization. And I think this is a link that many people miss, because I think when I go dance, what's the connection to me visualizing or creating beautiful architectural concepts? But having a free mind is exactly the link, because you go there, you dance all your sorrows and cares and out, and then you then have a free mind when you go back to your desk to do a visualization or to do an architectural concept. You have this free
Exactly.
mind. If you don't have those pauses, your mind is always busy, and at some point you just get lost in this. So this is important.
Exactly.
So, I mean, people are really amazed by this. Amit says, wow, a 3D artist, a painter with beautiful sketches, and a dancer too. Man, that's a whole package. Heads off, Mariana. And yeah,
Thank you.
definitely. Danushka says, I really love how versatile you are with different creative fields. Which one is your favorite? One that you always fall back to? I assume it's the dancing, or it's the mix.
I mean, dancing is something I never left. I must say that maybe I changed the type of dancing, but it was like something that I did since I was child. So dancing is something that is really, I consider it part of my life. I had like some small poses from watercolor, but not from dancing. Dancing is something that I would miss really a lot if it would not in my life. So dancing, definitely.
Yeah, makes sense. What do you actually enjoy more when it comes to, let's say, your desk work? Do you enjoy more the architectural side or the visualization side?
The visualization side.
Okay, that's nice.
Because the last picture I showed, the one I said that it was the second project with Corona. Actually, it was like sometimes like one of my bosses comes to me and does, I would like to change this building which is awful. You should put some like balconies and something. And then I have a total free, the blank page, the white page, and I can do everything I want to, and I can apply my ideas directly in the image, and it's amazing. I mean, it's really great.
Okay, so well, this is so maybe one day you can consider. I mean, one can make a studio with a few people if you don't want to be alone, because obviously this is also a lot of responsibility as well. But maybe you can establish your own small studio. Uh, so
Definitely.
who knows? Because if you enjoy it, then it's great. I mean, I think that most people, the way I see it, many architects prefer the architectural side and see the visualization side as a burden. Many 3D artists tend to also see the architectural side as too much. But let me tell you that, because after doing architecture for 6.5 years, academically, and then I became a 3D artist immediately after getting my master's. Many of my colleagues were like, dude, why do you do that? Why you only do visualize or depict something that somebody else has done? So why do you do it? Do you have the satisfaction from this? And I had to tell them how often I actually need to do conceptual work, especially for interiors. Most interiors that I get are absolutely empty, and I need to do everything on the inside, but also with
Exactly.
exteriors. So there is enough of conceptual and architectural work in visualization, depending on your plans, of
Absolutely.
course.
There is a huge space for creativity, and really, there's a huge room for applying everything you want to apply as ideas, as a principles. Yeah, I agree with you totally.
Would you say that being an architect makes a difference when you visualize?
Yes, because I have the access to every detail, and the technical side of the construction. So I can, it's like if you can, mm, yeah, if you are not doing just the box, but something that is like detail in the terms of reality, that who is looking at the image can say, okay, so I know how I can construct it. So I think that it's really something that can help in a huge way.
It's an advantage. It's not mandatory. We have people like Amit, who, as far as I recall, studied chemistry or something like this, and now is a great 3D artist. So it's not a must, but I think it definitely helps read plans, understand details, understand constructions, and maybe get into the plans and things, especially when it comes to RVs, of course. Better come into the plans, better understand the concept, and then know how to depict it. But in the end of the day, it really isn't mandatory. It's just an advantage, I would say. And you probably won't make mistakes that I sometimes see even really good and skilled artists do, like very thin walls of like 2 centimeters and things like that, which just don't make sense from an
Mhm.
architectural standpoint. You just mentioned your boss, and Amit is asking if your boss is furious, which the way you talk about them, it doesn't seem like they get. But did you then tell them to, get to relax and just dance it off or something like this?
Yeah, it never happens. We are like, this is a point why I am always here in Switzerland, because if not, I would move away, because in this studio, there's like a family, and we are like friends, and it's really, they are very polite, and even if they don't like something, before they say something positive, and then something negative. So it's really, I must say that I'm really happy here. so so it is not a situation I went through, so I cannot say.
Okay. But now you have a solution. If they are mad, you can dance with them and just show off your skill so that they feel even worse and they fire you or something. But okay,
Yes.
do you have a favorite type of visualization or a favorite area? Let's say exterior, interior. I think you
Yeah.
studied interior, so I assume you are more into interiors.
I was always yeah oriented towards interiors because is it like there's more room for creativity. I can make everything I want to. I can I can use the materials I want to. So it's like more free. But I must say that in last uh, year and a half, I went also through different exteriors. So it was like I learned to love them. So, but if I can choose, I prefer interiors.
For me, it's the other way around. But I gotta say, if my, let's say, because I was doing exteriors for years, and at some point I did my first interior, and it's usually the other way around. You see some people doing amazing interiors, and at some point they do an exterior, and the quality suddenly drops significantly. But looking at your exteriors, I fully understand why you learn to enjoy them. It shows they look really, really good, honestly.
Thank you, Theo.
And by the way, looking at your background, I gotta say, always when people don't put a backplate or some background outside of the windows, I criticize them that you never see white void outside of the windows. But looking at this, I cannot be saying this anymore. I don't know what you have there in Switzerland, but why is it so white, or is it just overexposure?
It's just there are some blinds and that's it. Just some blinds. So-
Okay, learn something today. Okay, how do you, can you, let's say you've studied like interior design, like, can you recommend something like a source of learning, be it a book or whatever, a page or something, where people who haven't learned it, as I told you, I'm an architect myself, but we never went into this, how to combine different materials or patterns or stuff like this on the inside. And
yeah.
this is why I find interiors to be more difficult, even though exteriors tend to be, let's say, more elaborate and need more work. I find interiors to be more difficult because I always have to look for references and stuff because I've never properly learned it. So apart from obviously studying it, do you know something like really a book or a source that you can recommend?
The books are really a base for me. It was like when I studied interior design, it was like when I was in Italy. So I bought a lot of books. When you have like principles of, I don't know, for instance, the color scheme must be like 70, 20, 10. Like you have three colors and you use it. So there are some rules. I can put in the comments the books I read, so you can check it
Please.
out. And then I made some amazing workshops with the interior studio, an Italian interior studio. As Italians are really like the top because they are it's the origin of interior design if you want to. So I would
Architecture as
recommend.
well.
Exactly. So if I would recommend if you can, but these are the or online courses, and they really explain very well the principle they use, what are the guidelines, and so on. But it's in, I think, I'm not sure if it's in English now. It was in Italian when I made it, but maybe it's in English. I can put the link in the comments so you can check
Please,
it out.
for both the books and the course, because learning is always, we got to develop, and this would be really, really great if you did. But do you also have something else to, like a book or a movie or music that you dance to or something to recommend,
Well,
which is not architecture or visualization related, I mean?
it's hard because normally when I listen something, I listen audiobooks while I'm working. So it's just like audiobooks that I listen, and not really a music. And if I listen to music, it's like something that it's
You got it
It's
then.
like yeah, it's more connected to African music. So I study the rhythms, and so I listen them, so I can get inspired to make my dances. And yes, and if not, I love reading. So I have a huge list of authors I'm reading. I'm really like devouring books every day. So I can maybe put some of interesting international writers or also in the comments, because there are really huge, not commercial, but really you're someone that can communicate really well, have messages, interesting messages. There are a lot of writers all over the world that are really maybe not so, that known, but amazing. So maybe I could share it with you.
Everyone was unknown before they became known, right? So maybe we can make them popular if you share them. But it would be a pleasure because once again, we see today we kind of took a look at both of sides of you, the artist side, but also the person. I think it's really important to have both because we are people in this community, and it's important to know, who the people are that we talk to, that we get opinions from, so on. And reading the books that you like, it's just the books that you like, so share them as they are. If it's the African music, then share it as it is. It doesn't need to be popular. Everybody knows popular music. You don't need to specifically share it, right? um,
Of course.
so this would be I think this is actually the end of it, so that we don't do 3 hours. And of course I would have more questions about AI and stuff, but let's keep it short. And you weren't nervous in the beginning, I asked you, but obviously you're not. You dance in front of people, so why would you be nervous to talk in front of a few people here? But how do you feel after almost 3 hours of talking? How is it, hanging out with the community, with me?
Yeah, it passed so quickly. It was like amazing, because I really love observe. So it was like the occasion to share my observations, and I enjoyed. It was like a good tennis with you, a good match. So I really, really enjoyed it, and I'm amazed by this amazing community that is supporting us, and kind one with each other, and this is super important.
It is. I absolutely love it, and I gotta say, it was. If this is a tennis match, was a wonderful one because we absolutely completed each other, and it was such a pleasure having you here. And
For me too.
all this what we had with Estella, with Nate's in the beginning, Estella, Pedro, with you now makes me really want to go harder on this idea. But I asked this question in the beginning, not to fish for compliments for me, but in order for those people who are unsure, or maybe have some type of anxiety towards showing up in the show, to see how it's just something pleasant. It's a hangout. It's just us being together in chatting and having a good time, and not something people should be anxious about.
Exactly, exactly. It's just like talking with a friend. Exactly.
This is it. And hopefully someday we do it live, but for now it's digital. Let's be happy that we have this option. Amit says she was not at all nervous. You gave a good pep talk, Theo, to Mariana before the beginning of the show. No, I didn't need to give her any pep talk. This was needed with Pedro, but he absolutely aced it afterwards. He didn't show that he was nervous, but Mariana is probably the one having to give me a pep talk, because I think when it comes to being in front of an audience, she's way more experienced than I am. For it's going to be one of the first times for me now in September, when I go to Berlin and have to talk about all of you guys in front of an audience.
Wow.
But it will be great. I will learn from Mariana. Maybe I'll do an Afro dance in front of everyone. They'll just kick me out. I don't have to do the presentation. But anyway, it was an absolute joy with all of you. Danushka says, amazing to see how a single person can be so wonderful. Really nice to hear your story, Mariana. Wishing you all the best to your future.
Oh, thank you. So
Amazing
kind. Thank
words
you.
to wrap this up. I can only join in this. Before we wrap it up, let me just remind you that the next show is going to be on September 2nd. So once again, in 3 weeks, and after that, we continue in the usual 2 week routine. And depending on how things turn out, I'm organizing a bit of something. Either the next show or the show after that is going to be really special. Okay, because we're
Great.
approaching our second birthday. So it
So thank
was
you, Theo, for having me. It was really a pleasure, a huge pleasure, and looking for the next episode.
absolutely, and in future we'll also maybe have an episode where we have more people, and then I'll gladly have you back in because it was a total pleasure. And for now, let's wrap up. It was amazing to hang out with all of you as always. Stay safe, be healthy, and I see you in 3 weeks, once again, September 2nd. And until then, what should you not forget? We should rock on and keep it real. Stay healthy, my friends. Much love. Bye bye. It
Ciao.
was awesome. Ciao. Let me see which live session should I end first. This one. Bye.